Okay, I think we should be live. I'm going to start by saying if there's any audio issues or video issues, let us know immediately. Also, I'd like to address this comment. You all chatting away before the stream starts, thinking that we don't see what you're saying. Sean Kreese, why does it seem like all the most influential men of our time is named Steve? Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, Steve Colbert, and Steve Burke. Well, Sean, you named Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, both of whom are from Apple. The door's over there. Okay, so today we're going to be live overclocking an Intel Hades Canyon NUC. How is this? How's the audio and everything? Let me know how the audio is going. We had one person say major issue, and no one else said anything. So, not really sure if they're just saying that or not. All right. Well, Sean Kreese responded and said, "Aw," so I guess that means the audio is working. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think it's working. Let me try one more thing before we get going. This thing in front of me is the Hades Canyon NUC with water cooling on it. It's pretty cool, literally. And what I want to do now is try switching scenes. We haven't done this for a while, so all right, we're gonna switch scenes. You're gonna see the desktop. Don't panic. Can you still hear me? That's the question right now. I want to know if you can still hear me while we are on the Intel NUC desktop scene, because that'll make it so we don't have to film the screen directly. All right, everyone says audio is good. That's good to know. Thank you. Okay. So how's all that look? I'm gonna tweet this out one more time. We are live overclocking the NUC. Okay. All right, so while we're streaming today, all right, everyone says yes. Okay, cool, awesome. It seems almost professional. So let me walk through the thing in front of me here. If you haven't seen it, we have a video on what this is, but basically, someone said unfortunately we can still hear you. Basically, this was supposed to be a portable computer. I think I have a, let me see, I have a shell for it. Here's the original cooler. Hang on one second, I'll show you. This was originally what was on the Hades Canyon NUC. So, is that your new personal rig? It might be. I really like it, actually. So that was originally on there. It's 2 blower fans. And then there's, one second, I'll get the cooler. And this was the heatsink. So that's originally what was on the Hades Canyon NUC. And yeah, there you go right there. So original thermal paste and everything still on this one. We do, by the way, have thermal pads, of course, on the VRMs. I just left the stock ones on here. So that's what was on there. And we've put on from Moonlight Mods, which is a, it's kind of, I think it's a hobbyist site, and they still sell some stuff, but the former Danger Den folks started that up. So he emailed me, said, hey, we have a way better cooling solution than your closed loop liquid cooler that you had on the Hades Canyon NUC. So this is it. Basically, they sent over this water block right here. Let me try and not flip off the camera. So water block, it doesn't have a ton of micro fins or anything, but it's got some. It should be better than the open loop coolers that helping. So yeah, there's your water block, couple of copper fins in there. And then underneath, we have a 360 millimeter radiator, which I think is what everyone pretty much wanted originally. It's technically, this can fit a 240, not a 280, but I would have had to go downstairs to get a 240, so we went with a 360. It's got a Vardar, a Corsair ML120, and then a Sunon maglev fan on it as well. And that's pretty much the cooling setup. So we're hooked up to an EK pump. I don't remember which specific kit this came out of, but it was out of one of their like pre-built, pre-assembled kits. EK pump hooked up to the block. On the other side, we have, I can't show you unfortunately easily, but it's a skull like face for the NUC. I don't really want to try and rotate this. And then a 360 rad. So the skull face thing is just a it's just a smaller reservoir, but it looks really cool, and we have a video showing that if you're curious. All right, chat's starting to fill up, so we can start overclocking pretty soon, I think. Anyway, we've moved on from this thing to that, and we originally did a closed loop silent loop 280 from Be Quiet, and that performed reasonably as well. So yeah, I know the intake's a problem. Yeah, so that's one thing I wanted to point out. Because we have, like, we're kind of right on the edge of acceptable intake, I would like at least an inch, but ideally more. So the fans are really close to the table, but we're gonna try it. If I have significant thermal issues, we can try and just elevate this a bit and see if it gives us what we need. But I think honestly, we are going to run into issues first with the fact that the block well, I fixed a bit of that, but the block doesn't really have that much in the way of micro fins. It doesn't have it has macro fins. So the block has like 5 macro fins. So I think we're gonna run into issues there before the actual airflow, but we'll see. One final update. What you didn't see previously, I had Cryonaut on here originally, which is not on my shelf, but had Cryonaut on here. I ended up taking off the Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. They're technically the sponsor for the stream as well. Took it off and replaced it with Conductonaut, and just put Captain thermal tape all around the outside of it and some nail polish. So Conductonaut, which is liquid metal, is actually working way better for the stream purposes. Originally we were hitting we were capping out thermally pretty fast. So I think enough people in here we can kind of get started. Bill Wanchalo donated $1. First super chat donation. Thank you very much. Someone says that is not a full cover water block. It is technically on the VRM component. So this water block is making contact with the MOSFETs, and I do have a thermal pad under it, but there's no contact with the chokes. And what we're going to do, chokes don't really matter that much, but if they start heating in terms of heat, or they start heating up unreasonably, we're going to drop one of these just right up here and blow some air down onto those. So other setup components, power supply that's shorted. So there's a power supply, and then a bunch of cables plugged into all the fans just via Molex. So that should be pretty much everything. VRM cooling is done by the cold plate on the block, and then, I mean, there's not like water going through the area where the VRMs are contacted, but it's still copper, it's still water-cooled copper, it'll be better than stock. So yeah, this camera work is next level. That'd be Andrew. We try to do our live streams with a live camera as well, so thank you for noticing. Anyway, let's get started. Bill Wanchalo, $1 donation, no words. Thank you very much, Bill. If you want to send super chat, I'll read out your comment. If you have a question or anything like that, send it through. We'll read it as we go through the stream. Final note before we get started: if anyone who buys any GN merch, the mod mat, or the, for example, we have new keychains that are just sort of easy swag items for $10. If you buy any merch while we're live streaming, I'll do a readout of everyone's name sort of intermittently, so you'll get a quick shout out, first name and where you're from. And shirts have been somewhat restocked for the Raglan hoodies, and also the mod mats and the crystals, these rotating glass crystals behind me that have the 3D teardown logo in it. It's like 3D laser engraved. Those are in stock now, so is the mod mat. So stuff you buy today from this SKU or from the mod mats, those are all shipping this, I guess, this week actually. So they're here, no longer a back order. So let's get started. I'm going to try switching scenes, and we're going to see if it works, and let me know if it doesn't. So there's your, what CPU are you using? If that's a reference to the 7980XE meme from the RIP LTT stream, then you are going to be very disappointed, because it is not a 7980XE. I don't even remember the name of this one. It's like 8809G or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it's an Intel. This is an Intel Hades Canyon unit, so it has an Intel CPU and an AMD Vega GPU, which is what makes it very unique and interesting to work on. And that's the Parkiani 1000 Huff. I don't know what Huff is, but thank you. Good to see Crate Ideas. Wish I could afford the NUC only. Yeah, I know. It's really cool. It's just, it is expensive. You pay for the form factor, and I've removed everything about the form factor. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is, someone says we can't hear anything, but I am hoping that's a joke. Is this person full of crap or not. I think you can probably hear me, but let me know. So what we're looking at is Intel Extreme Tuning Utility. This is the best way to overclock Hades Canyon presently. BIOS kind of works, but it's very limited. So this is the easiest way, and it's through software. So we'll have to reboot once we do XMP and stuff like that. Audio is good. Thank you very much, Steve Strezza, the moderator. And yeah, so we're using Extreme Tuning Utility (XTU), and we're starting right now. I have a low resolution set so I can actually read the monitor. Is 42 for the fastest speed multiplier on one core. Cache is 39, and all the other stuff is default. So actually, one major limitation we're going to run into here today is going to be current. Currently, we're at 125. You can kind of drag this up to 150. You can drag this one up to unlimited for the turbo boost power max option, and that'll help a lot. But the biggest concern is still going to be the power brick. So the power brick is 230 watts. It's 19.5 volts, I want to say, by, where is it? 19.5 by 11.8 amps. So in terms of power, you multiply those two numbers, volts times amps will give you wattage. I think that's 230 watts. That's going to be our biggest limitation. And then from there, I'm talking to some people about getting a custom brick made. So no, the core, there's no overclocking presently, so the cores aren't synced in BIOS, nothing like that. This is all stock other than these two buttons, these two sliders I just changed. So let's start with the baseline. Let's discard these changes and just do a really simple, like check the thermals. Are you stuck using Intel's drivers? We're using Intel's drivers. I don't know why we'd be stuck using them. So we're going to run hardware info while running a 3D Mark full Firestreak sweep and Firestrike sweep, and that will give us a baseline score, and then from that score we can figure out the rest. So, and I'm also going to let hardware info run and collect temperatures in the background. So we're just going to pop out a few of these so that once it's all done, I'll be able to look more carefully at what's going on thermally and make sure that everything's cooled sufficiently. So we have HBM, HBM2 on this. We have the sort of Vega, sort of Polaris GPU thermals. Then we have one Core 0 thermals. That should be about the hottest. So let's run Firestrike and see what we get for that, for baseline. So that'll give us a score, and then we're going to try and beat that score and go up. I don't think we're going to be doing a RIP LTT with Hades Canyon, but I'd really like to hit, let's set a goal. I'd like to hit, I think, 10,000 points, just pulling a nice, easy number out. So let's hope for that and see what we can get. All right, so yeah, just buy a 20 volt 500 watt on eBay and solder or screw the extra thick cable on there. We're talking to people about making one properly. Eurocom, if you're familiar with them, we'll see if they come through for me. I have another power supply off to the side here. It's for a laptop. Technically it fits in terms of the plug size, and it's 240 watts. So if 10 extra watts gets us something, I can switch to that later. But for now, we'll see how far this gets us. What's the difference between... Okay, a couple questions here from Super Chat. Let me read those while this runs. Oh yeah, DeadBC77 says, my keychain has shipped. Awesome. That's great to hear because they just got in a couple days ago. I just did a quality check on a bunch of stuff and everything looked good. So, Super Chat donation, Caramel the Fussy Calico, $2, says yeet. Sounds about right for a cat. $1, I don't know if that's $1 A. I don't know what that is. No message with that from RB. Thank you, RB. Gavin, $1. Thank you. No message. Slamming your keyboard for the name. $2. Compare Linux versus Windows for gaming performance. Not on this. Not today. We lost signal. I don't know what happened. But not going to compare Linux and Windows right now. So let me figure out. Let me troubleshoot this. What we've looked at. I mean, I use Linux for our web server, but I don't know a whole lot about it from a consumer standpoint. So unfortunately, I'm not really the best qualified for that. You'd probably really like, what are they? Is it Phoronix? No, that's not right. Is that right? Yeah, Phoronix, right? They do really good Linux benchmarking. So I definitely recommend checking them out. And They're the leading publication for Linux. I think the HDMI setup's potentially screwy. We'll figure it out. Worst case, we film the screen. But yeah, Linux is fantastic for our web server and stuff like that. I haven't used it for as a consumer in quite a while. I used to use it as my daily on a laptop for specifically an old version of Ubuntu, probably 10.0. Is it frozen? If it is, then while in transit from the other room, something might have gotten disconnected. We'll find out soon. Next question is from... Oh, came back. Cool. Yeah, I think it's not liking putting out the two monitors, honestly. It's kind of asking a lot of the NUC. Next question was from Gabriel Rodriguez. Love this show. Take my money, $5. Thank you very much, Gabriel. So we're going to try this one more time with two outputs going. And if it's no good, then I'll have to unplug the in-stream view. So let's do loop. Let's do windowed mode not looping. And run. And that'll let me make sure it's not a thermal limitation, which would indicate that something came loose. But we should be okay there in theory. Although it's getting a bit warm. So yeah, the next question was from the Park Yenny, who said, oh, 400 HUF. Huff is Hungarian forint. 1 USD equals 270. Thank you. Okay. So let's see if this is a thermal thing or what. I guess I can switch back to that stream view as well. Oh, it says no signal. That's great. Okay. Thank you very much. It's still running, as you can see with the camera, but we're getting no signal out of the capture card, so whatever. That's fine. All right. Ziggy, 5 Canadian. Keep up the good work, my dude. Thank you very much. Reeve, $5 euros, says, greetings from Funland, parentheses, Finland. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Greetings to you as well. We don't have thermal issues, so these are the ones to look at. I got a couple of spikes here, but nothing terrible yet. I'm going to move this to the left side of the screen so you can see it a bit easier since we're having those capture card issues. So we're kind of bouncing around between the 30s and the 50s, depending. This is, I think, should be all stock settings right now. Let's double check. Yes, we're all stock settings. So we're just kind of doing a check on the thermals. And where's GPU? Here's some motherboard temperatures. You know what we should plug in is the other fan on top. And then we also have GPU and HBM temperatures right here. So 33 and 32 presently. So we're good thermally. But let's, did you borrow BZ's capture card? Yeah, I think he has the same issues, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's like whenever you have stuff that crashes, capture cards get kind of confused. So not the best idea for overclocking, but we can still film the screen. Next one, Tom's Bremsmitz. While this is running, getting our baseline number for non-overclock, but I guess we're getting baseline thermals, make sure it all works. Tom says, 50 Norwegian kroner, says, hello from Norway, really like your job and your personality. I want to buy a signed mod mat, not because I need, but because I just want it. What CPU? You know what? It's not a 7980XE, okay? I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint you. I actually need to see what it is, though. I'm curious now, because I haven't checked since the review. i7 8 something. i7 8809G. Can't blame me for not remembering it. 8809G, and then there's a Vega MGH in this unit. There's also a Vega MGL, which has, I think, fewer CUs. So I have not tested that yet. I've asked for it, but they didn't get me one, and they're hard to find in stock. So that's what we've got for the CPU. Even though you were trying to start a meme, but if everyone gives me $2 and asks what CPU, I guess I'm fine with that. Jack Reitman, $10. Hook it up to a car battery. We could probably do that. Might be a bit on the extreme side. Okay, so we got a baseline finally. The temperatures looked pretty okay the whole time. I'm just scrolling up to the CPU temperatures. Give me a second. Yeah, so we're like 20 to 65. These numbers right here are the distance from TJ Maxx, so you care about these ones. And then here's our baseline score. Graphics 9571, physics 12,000. So we'll see if we can get beyond that. Let's start with a simple overclock, all I'm going to do... So first of all, you might be interested in this for any of you who have done any Vega overclocking or just even AMD overclocking. This is kind of funny to me still. This is the AMD software clearly, but it's branded as Intel. So the first time I opened it, it was kind of like, what's happening? I don't understand what's happening. But it's actually just Wattman. And it's an easy way still to control these components, so we're just going to use that for now. Anyway, this is the default frequency curve through Wattman for the Vega M-GH GPU. And our stock memory frequency caps at 800 megahertz. We have headroom to boost that to 1,000. We'll kind of figure out what stability is on the stream today. And then we've got a power target that you can go up to 75% offset. So right now we're going to run stock GPU settings and just mess with stock GPU settings, if I didn't say that correctly, and just mess with the CPU. So options, typical reference clock, all the stuff you see in BIOS. BIOS for this Hades Canyon NUC is actually lacking a few things. So I could not, for the life of me, find any current or power limitations. Couldn't find them in BIOS. So we're going through the software to unlock those. So we're allowing 150 amps, processor core ICC max, and we're allowing unlimited power for the unlimited power, the Paul's Hardware quote of Star Wars, for the turbo boost. And then turbo boost window, I think this maxes at 96, but it's only going to let us do 80. So we'll do 80 for that. And that's just from knowing that from experience. And now let's just let's leave voltage as is. And let's just go up to, 45 for all core. So 45 all core. And that's coming up from like 39 to 41 or so. And I think we'll leave the cache ratio alone for now and bring that up in a minute. And we're leaving the IGP alone because we're using the AMD GPU. So let's apply this. There's our settings. Should be 4.5 gigahertz. And GPU is stock. Let's get a baseline for that one. And probably start saving these somewhere too. Okay, so it'd be nice to have hardware info going, if it will open. And then all we're going to do is just, again, establish, right now we're at 4.5 gigahertz CPU. So let's establish just a CPU score, because really nothing else is going to matter. Okay, so physics, 4.5 gigahertz, go. While that's running, I'll read some chat. So yeah, 39 to 41 or 2 or something like that. Can you use Wattman to overclock the CPU? Actually, no. It functions just like Wattman normally does. So it's GPU overclocking, and it has all the same options that Wattman normally does, and nothing extra. It's just branded as Intel. It doesn't actually allow you to do anything with Intel other than the AMD GPU tuning, I guess. Okay, so while that's running, gotta scroll up. We're getting a lot of super chats. Thank you very much. Greg Z83, would be awesome if was a total kit with 240 rad. Oh, this case, yeah. So I don't know if I don't think they sell it. Moonlight Mods, if you want to visit them, I think it's just moonlightmods.com. They basically just sent this to me because they thought it'd be cool to see it used. I don't think they're not really like a big retailer or anything like that. It's basically one guy, and they just make cool stuff with a laser cutter, which I'm totally up for. So I don't know if they sell it, but it'd be sweet if they did. NUC's probably not a high enough volume part, but yeah, it can fit a 240. It'd actually be a great daily driver, just because it'd be kind of fun and unique. One more here before we get back to that. Jack Lee says, what's the difference between OSIN in Intel Extreme Tuning and in the BIOS? $5. Thank you very much. I think I described some of that. BIOS on the NUC specifically, it's Intel's Visual BIOS, which you probably haven't heard of since their motherboards died. And that just means it's UEFI. And it lacks power control options. We can actually go through it in a bit. And it lacks some of the other processor overclocking options. Also, you can't do much with the Vega M GPU through there. So software is better for GPU for sure. Physics score. So previously we had a physics score in the 12,000s for the stock baseline test. We're already at 14,000, so we've gained quite a bit. And if you want to take note of the FPS, I guess 44.5. But 14,000 is what our physics score is for 4.5 gigahertz. So you know what? I'm going to make just a notepad file so we can kind of reference this stuff as we go later. Stock physics score, and then 14K at 4.5 gigahertz, which is, what did I say, 44.52? Yes, 0.52 FPS. So let's just save that. Scores. And let's go ahead and do a bit more now. You can ask more of it. Where is hardware info? Why can't I have it? Let's try and revive hardware info as well while we're at it, I guess. Okay, it thinks it's running, but it's not. Thank you, Windows. There we go. So let's get this running. It'll take a bit out of the CPU score, but not much. And I just want to see what kind of temperatures we're dealing with while this is going on. Let's go up to 4.6 gigahertz. And let's also increase this to 43. Actually, let's do 42. I like to stay 4 below the core multiplier. So we're 4 below. Let's see if we can do that without increasing the voltage or the reference clock. So it's applied, and you can see it actually applies live, which is easier to validate with hardware info. So there you go. When it boosts, it goes up to 4.6, and it'll stay boosted to 4.6 when we're running the test. Voltage, if you're curious, idle is not very high. Let's open one of these and check it after the test. And then I guess we can run windowed as well, because we're just doing physics tests. So windowed. That will allow it, again, we'll drop a couple points, but it's not a big deal because we're not really competing for anything right now. So I'm gonna let that start up. Next super chat was from Bill Wanchalo. E. The letter E from Bill. It's one of the greatest mysteries of super chat. $4.20. Thank you very much for the 420. I appreciate it. Next one, Ben Quigley. $2. 2 quid. Says, want a crystal soon, my pretty, soon. Yeah, well, they're in stock. We have the big ones that are 3 pounds and heavy enough for hand-to-hand combat, and then we have the medium crystals as well on store.gamersnexus.net if you are curious. Yeah, there it is right now. So those are 3D laser engraved. They're actually really sweet. We're pretty happy with it for a merch item. If you want something more functional than the mod mat, you can also get it at store.gamersnexus.net, and I'll shout your name out if you buy something before the stream ends. Score 14,018, no real change, but what we care about is all of this hardware info stuff. So if you're curious about voltage, Core 0 VID, I should have opened up vCore. We're going up to 1.3, just to be curious, and it is coffee-like architecture, so voltage behavior is going to be about the same. It's just that this small unit can't normally deal with that much heat because it's got that small cooler on it. It's sufficient for what it is, but not for what we're doing today. Anyway, max temperatures in the 70s up to 80, getting kind of warm kind of fast, so we might want to boost the unit a bit higher off the table. I think that's going to restrict our airflow a bit. We're going to leave GPU and not overclocked for now. We'll do that last. And let's get XTU back up. So no real change with, we're at like 14K flat with 4.6. So let's just kind of keep that in mind. Oh, and the 42 cache. So let's push this to 4.7 and see if it'll hold. I think we're going to start getting into territory where I need to increase the voltage. This is where our max was with the CLC, the 280 CLC we had previously. We could not get past 4.7. If we hit 4.8, it was very briefly. So that's kind of going to be our max, I think. But we'll see. My goal would be, I'd love to hit 4.9. It'd be crazy to hit 5.0. I think we'll hit power limitations though. So let's try that. 4.7, give us a baseline. It's probably not going to change a whole lot, but it'll help us understand performance a bit. And we're going to drop some points with hardware info open as well. 63C says, can the RGB base for the crystal show in white? I think so. Do you know where that is? We can test it right now. But I'm almost positive. Yeah, it does. I'm almost positive it does white. Where do you see it? Oh, right here, yeah. I need USB. That's not gonna work, that's RGB. Pretty sure it does white, but it's got 3 LEDs in it, and it might have a 4th. It has 4 LEDs in it. So yeah, I think so. Next one, Neil Manning. Love this channel, especially the hardware news. That's good to hear because we're filming one after this video. $5. Thank you very much, Neil. filming a hardware news tonight after the stream ends. It'll go up tomorrow. There's actually some really cool news items for this one, like teaser, Micron had conversations with the Chinese government about price fixing. So that'll be fun to talk. I actually don't know the full news item yet. It was, we've got it written down, but I haven't read through it yet. All right, so our results, 14,275. So we went up by about 200 points. Kind of not far from margin of error there. If I type a decimal, I might as well type the whole thing. 14,275, that's at 4.7 with a 42 cache. How are we for thermals? Maxing out, 85, 82. Still doing pretty well. So our water block's helping a lot. Before, just to give you an idea, previously with the 280 millimeter closed loop cooler that I zip tied to it, and there's a video on the channel about that if you're curious, also a video of building this one. Previously, at that frequency, these numbers were in the 90s. So we're definitely ahead already, quite a bit ahead. Let's do, I think this is where we're gonna start crashing. So prepare your F key for respect. Let's try 4.8 without any voltage changes. Okay, well, there's F key for respects, everyone. F key for respect. So it did not like 4.8. Now we're getting signature validation failure. So let's restart. We're gonna have to increase the voltage a bit. And I'm just gonna need to restart. Actually, we can jump into BIOS too, because a couple people were curious about what it looks like. Steve, in your... Oh, yeah. Let me try and catch this while I'm also slamming F2. This is just a normal chat. MapeSDHS says, Steve, in your HC review, you mentioned the lack of similar products from other vendors. Now that GPP is dead, have you heard of any other vendors moving ahead with new products like HC? I'm assuming you mean Hades Canyon. I'm actually not... No, I haven't heard anything special, but I don't know that I would be privileged to that information yet because Computex is, we're leaving in like 3 days to go to Taiwan, maybe 4. So if there is anything special, we should hear it there in theory, but definitely Hades Canyon is a threat to NVIDIA because it's really good. This cable's messing us up. 1 second. Still streaming? Yes. Okay. All right. The second HDMI cable on the NUC was confusing it, so it was outputting to the streaming PC instead of the monitor. Stream is still good. Yes. All right. Cool. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about new like unique products. So we'll hopefully find out in a week if there is anything. Okay. So we're booting into BIOS. Hopefully it'll give me display out. There it goes. Well, got it this time. So last time it was outputting to the stream PC. So here's the visual BIOS for the NUC. If you haven't seen it, it's really not very special. The one feature I like a lot is the search feature, and I've used it a bit, and it doesn't tend to work very well. So the problem is they had a great idea for a feature, and it's just kind of, it's super slow, by the way. That's not stream latency. That's like, okay. This is, okay. I don't think I need to type anymore to prove my point. I was gonna say this is the speed that it types. Very slow, super cool idea, does not work, unfortunately. So anyway, that's the coolest feature of the BIOS. You can take screenshots just like normally. This is basic, go to advanced BIOS, got a couple more things. So they have cooling performance for all the stuff. You can go to performance tab and mess around with the processor. Some of the features from XTU are exposed here, but not all of them. So we are, like I said, we're missing the power controls to some extent. We're missing a lot of them anyway. So yeah, this is not the greatest BIOS in the world. XTU is surprisingly good, and we're going to keep using that instead. The graphics tab doesn't do a whole lot. Enables and disables the Intel integrated graphics. Memory tab gives you some exposed timings and also XMP options, but not a ton here either. There's enough to work with though. So anyway, if you're curious about BIOS, that's what it looks like. And we're just gonna work with XTU for the rest. Who approved this feature? Someone says about the search. Yeah, I mean, it is genuinely, I like the idea a lot, but it needs to work. Like if it takes, just as long for the letters to show up as it does for me to click every single menu item and look for the thing I want. It's not very helpful. I don't know if it's just because it's like bloated or what. But anyway, next question is from Joey Riz, who says, $5, thank you very much. Sup, man, first time I check, I'm on the stream, but I love the channel, has helped me with my build. Check out my channel for my AMD Ryzen 2700X 4.5 gigahertz results. 4.5 is awfully high. I'll have to see what you did to get that. If it was exotic cooling or what, or single core or something like that. Radiantly Yellow, $5. We're rebooting, by the way. Please do a review or comparison on various thermal paste versus thermal grizzly thermal paste. I've done thermal paste testing, and it's really hard to show a difference. So the problem is thermal compound testing with. Why are we preparing an automatic repair? Come on, Windows. Thermal compound testing is very difficult to do because you're looking for like 1 to 3 degrees difference in some of the high-end pastes. So you can definitely see differences in really bad stuff versus really good stuff. But to really control for the CPU and control for the environment, you kind of want a synthetic test apparatus, basically like copper plates with like a diode in it. Okay, we're gonna have to reset BIOS through BIOS, I guess. So we are using BIOS. Kind of ideally build a custom setup though that will allow you to control the power of like a copper plate rather than using a computer. So you're just using a heating element and some diodes, and that would be the ideal way to test thermal paste. But it exits real world pretty quickly, and it requires some machining work to do it the way I want, so we haven't done anything like that yet. All right, so what we need to do is reset defaults. Hopefully it actually works. Sometimes that button does not work in this BIOS. What does it think? We still thinks we're at 4.8. Okay, there we go. So let's see if that resets it enough to boot, hopefully. Okay, cool. Next question. David Mako, €2. I learned, oh, it scrolled away. Why, YouTube? I learned a lot from you. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, David. Secret recipe, $1, no message. Thank you, secret recipe. Caramel the Fussy Calico, thick nuck. That's the new one. Trail features, $5. Trail features sounds like a mountain biking channel. Love that you all do stuff like this. Intel IGP performance and Adobe video is also great. I will be swapping my 1700 to an i7-8700K when I get booted for a dual boot Windows 10 system. Or OX system. Very cool. Yeah, we might have some more content on the IGP stuff. I've done some quality comparisons of the outputs, and the IGP output versus like software versus CUDA all pretty much looks the same. Something's going screwy here and from the setting I applied, so we're going to let it boot, get into XT immediately this time and restore defaults. Definitely needed more voltage on that last one. Yeah, so quality looks all the same between those as far as like YouTube is concerned. You might see quality differences if you're talking huge bit rates, like movie quality outputs, but I don't think we're really worried about that. What does it say? No to cancel and attempt? Yes to enter setup. Okay. So yeah, I think IGP is a great solution for the kind of stuff we do anyway. All right, let's get this thing booted this time. One super chat while it boots. i5, 200 Japanese, what is it, yen? I'm a big fan of you from Japan. Thank you very much. I need to pay attention to it this time so we can get into XTU and make sure it's not freaking out about something. All right. Oh yeah, there's my system name. Mother Knocker. I was wondering if anyone would notice that. I don't know if anyone said anything yet. All right. Please boot. Oh yeah, XTU does that too. It's like, it'll say that it failed to load, but it actually doesn't. Show values. Okay, I think it's actually back to defaults now. That's good. All right, so we got stuck at 48 and needed more voltage. So let's do that. Let's start with just going back up to 46, and then we'll go up to 48 with some more voltage on the core. I'm gonna go kind of heavy on the voltage because I don't want to spend all stream fine tuning for like a, let's actually bring this down to 41 just in case. I don't want to fine tune for like a 0.01 voltage difference or anything like that. So we're gonna go a bit heavy handed for this stream. All right, that should be good just to get us to 46 and make sure there are no new issues I don't know about. And let's just validate that. Anyone talking about the Nuck name? Nuck, who's there? Your mom. Oh, God. So bad. Doesn't even sound like knock. I can appreciate it nonetheless. All right, so just making sure everything's still functional. Physics, windowed. Let 3D Mark recheck all the options when I don't want it to. Okay. So we're establishing that 46 still works. We'll go up to 48. Bill Anchalo, $2. Thank you very much, Bill. Again, will you zuck my nuck? I don't know what that means, but it sounds gross. Jennifer Roger, $10 for post-stream tacos, chicken, beer, coffee. Looking forward to the Computex content. Thank you very much. I think that's becoming our thing now is chat donates money, tells us what to buy with it, and then we have to eat a lot of food, apparently. That was a fun stream, though, when we did that. I think that was the RIP LTT stream where I was starving because we were overclocking for so long. I can barely see the numbers we're getting. 78... Oh, sorry. I didn't mean on camera. I meant personally. Although I can read the stream now. Thermal numbers are acceptable. 14,000. Okay, we're back where we should be. So let's do a bit of voltage stuff. This goes up to 80. Should not matter, though. And voltage, let's drag that one up. 0.007. Like I said, I'm going heavy-handed intentionally because I don't want to spend the whole time tuning that. Let's do 47. And then let's do 48 once it refreshes. Okay. 48. So we're at 0.07 voltage offset for core. And we can actually, if you're curious, we can run, let's see, let me just open up one of these VIDs. That'll be enough. And then there's our cores. So we'll check all that once we're done. Benchmark, fire strike, physics, go. So we're trying 4.8. We'll see. Last time it blue screened when we did this. So see if we can get past that and also not be overheating. Okay. So, oh, someone earlier, towards the start of the stream, I just remember this, asked what our internet speed is for this. We're at a gigabit up right now. So I think YouTube in my loose testing accepts up to like 300 megabits per second for uploads. It probably doesn't accept that for a live stream, but yeah, we're at gigabit right now. So next one, Tom's Bremsitz, 50 kroner. Norwegian kroner. Can you tell approx shipping costs from ModMat to Norway, basically Europe? I don't have it off the top of my head, but if you go to the site, you can still add it to the cart and you can type in where it's going without having to commit to buying it, and then that'll calculate it accurately for you. It's pretty expensive for us to ship to Europe, but we certainly do it, and we've brought costs down recently, so that's good. Just the volume has allowed us to bring costs down a bit because the carrier is not charging us as much, but you can check on the site. Gabriel Rodriguez, TR1, Threadripper 1 or Threadripper 2 or wait for Cascade Lake? I need cores, $2. Sounds, I don't know anything about Cascade Lake. Oh, we're stable, by the way, 14482. That was just for one physics test. So let's just take a note of that. I don't know about Cascade Lake, honestly. And I know it really depends on what you need. Like if today you're trying to get work done and you can't because your system's just not enough for you, then build today. Because if it's costing you money because you can't work or something, then that's obviously going to be worth getting up and running. If you can wait, you're pretty happy with your system, it does what you want, you can wait till August. I think that's when Threadripper 2 ships. So that might be worth waiting for. But otherwise, Threadripper 1 is just fine. Just kind of depends on how urgently you need a system. 49, do we go 49 now, or do we, let's do another stability check first. So let's let this run a little bit longer this time and just do a loop of the physics test, let it run like 3. And then I'm going to check some of the numbers while it's running, for which I'm going to have to drag this to the right so that I can actually see it. Okay. So 0.07 voltage offset right now in vCore. Puts VID. Vid is at 1.35-ish, 1.34. Certainly getting up there. Again, it's coffee-like architecture still, so you know, 1.4 is kind of going to be where we hit a wall. 4.8 gigahertz, that's successful. What other numbers do we have? Cores are getting a bit warm. We might want to elevate this system a bit, I think. So we are at, starting to hit 90s. We hit 94 once. I want to keep it below that, but it's okay for right now. And this is also without any GPU loads. That's going to become a problem. And then GPU, it should be basically nothing because it's not really doing anything. Yeah, GPU is 27, HBM is 26. So we're going to start hitting a thermal wall pretty quickly here. And I think for that we can elevate the system a little bit. How long and wide is the mod mat? It's 4 feet by 2 feet. So it's a large mat. It covers most of this table. So it's 4 by 2. Other specs like that are on the site as well. I'm just going to let this thing loop a little bit to make sure it's stable at 4.8, and then we'll try higher to 4.9. All right, next question. Ben Grogan, 5 quid. Has Fractal forgotten they were doing a Type-C front I/O for the Define R6 on launch? They said January release, about to hit June and still nothing. I honestly don't remember. Did the Define... I think the R6 didn't have Type-C, right? It's been a while since we looked at that case. I am not sure. I can ask them what's up with that and see if they have any news for us. But yeah, that's a good point. I haven't heard about it either. Maybe someone else can type in chat if they've seen something. I don't follow all the news. Oh, there we go. Not stable. Okay. That's really good looking screen. So let's restart that. See if it's freaking out still. So we need some more voltage, basically. Jason Christoph, you have OC'd for our sins. Please absolve the chat. They need it. You only gave $4.99. Unfortunately, to absolve chat, I require $5.0. Oh, one thing I should note about this, I'm a little afraid of crashes like that one because the NUC seems to really dislike crashing from overclocks that are at an inappropriate voltage, because I actually had it killed an entire OS. I had to reinstall Windows and everything. Made system restore points, so hopefully if we have to do that, it'll be quick. But yeah, it gets very unhappy with an unstable overclock. It'll just blow everything away. So I'm a little worried about that happening during stream, but we'll just try it. That's part of why I'm being heavy-handed on the voltage. All right, so max, 80, and then offset. Oh, someone asked why not static voltage. Because I can't is the only reason. There's a lot of stuff that's not possible with the NUC, so we're just doing offsets. There might be a way. I'll have to look harder, but what is this? Question mark doesn't even say anything. What does this say? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe in BIOS we can fix the voltage, but that's lacking other options and it will take forever. Let's go 0.08. Definitely going to start running into thermal concerns. Apply for 4.7. Let's go up to 48x. Cache ratio I'll leave low for now. If it's a problem, we'll deal with it then. All right, 3D Mark. So see if this is stable this time. Next question is, if I want to elevate the case, what should I use to elevate it? I have power bricks, soldering irons, and fans. I guess we can use fans to elevate it. So is it going to be stable this time? Okay, let's find out. We're going for 4.9. We're at 4.8 right now and kind of having some stability issues. Really close to what I want. I'd love 5.0. I just don't know if it's going to be doable because that's going to be a lot of power. So, all right, let me get back to these for a bit. Clone Fire 666. Oh, Wow, that was, so just to bring us back, Jason Christoph gave $4.99 and said, "You've OC'd for our sins, please absolve the chat, they need it." And then Clonefire said, sent 666. So we've got two opposing forces here, and they said, "One hell of a setup. Thank you, Clonefire." Yeah, I really like this thing. This is like, it'd be fun to have on the desk. I don't know if I'd want to use it as a daily, but it's good. It's good enough for it. Price Newberg, $5. Why has no one asked the most important question? What audio processing unit, APU, does this use? JK. Yeah, I am, that said, so, I mean, I don't actually, if anyone's curious, I genuinely don't know what audio chip it has on it. Not something I pay attention to. But that said, I'm interested to see what kind of APUs we get in like the PS5 or the Xbox 2X or the Xbox One X2. Xbox One X2. So you heard it here first. Max Samson, 279 Canadian. Thank you very much. No message. Daniel Ellerbrock. Hey Steve, love the videos. Your content really inspired me to pursue a career in computer hardware. Cheers. Well, that's awesome. I hopefully you like it. It's pretty fun. There are a lot of different jobs. Like for people, anyone who's kind of interested in the field but doesn't know what you can do, there are a lot of jobs in technical marketing and PR that don't require a degree necessarily, but do require knowledge. Or, well, if they don't, you should have it and you'll be a leg up if you do. So anyone who's like pretty good with the technical side of computers but maybe doesn't feel qualified to be an engineer, there are a lot of jobs in tech marketing, and we work with some great people in that field. So that's one I like to point it out, because it's not something that I think is, it's not a job you think about existing if you're outside the industry. So a lot of media people go and work as tech marketing eventually, which I'm not planning to do. But just to give you an idea of the skill set they typically have, that is a giant delta. Core 1 in the 60s versus 2 in the 90s. Is that from utilization or is that from uneven contact? Well, they're all 100% load. So it might be it might be a contact issue, which I can't do a lot about on stream, because if I tighten it too much, it'll crack the interposer. So anyway, we'll deal with it for now. So we're pretty stable at this point. 0.08 volts, 4.8 gigahertz. And now let's do a proper full run and just see what kind of score we have before GPU overclocking. Or actually before any additional overclocking. Let's run that. We'll just see what we get. Thomas O'Hara, this is Knucking Futz. Love the content, Steve. Thank you very much for the $2. Vincent, scroll down. Vincent Van Rigen, when all done, let Buildzoid LN2 XOC this Knuck. I mean, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. But Buildzoid's talked about it. Definitely with like a benchtop power supply with enough amperage, which those are expensive to do, 15 amps or more, or a custom power brick, which we're trying to get made. You could probably do something with it under LN2. That'd be fun. But if you missed it, by the way, earlier I was talking about power bricks. So power brick is 19.5 volts, 11.8 amps, comes out to 230 watts. We have another laptop brick that's 240 watts, won't do a ton for us, 10 watts extra though. I am working with Eurocom to try and get a custom brick made for this thing. So after Computex, we might have one. $2 from Trail Features. Yep, mountain biking. Loved your Whistler vids. Thank you very much. Yeah, the GN Steve side channel. I'll be uploading more downhill mountain biking videos throughout the summer now that the season's open. Again, after Computex. But GN Steve for the side channel if you're curious. $2 from hitting the keyboard. Thank you. Spectre, $5. No message. Thank you. Trying to catch up on super chats while this thing runs its full pass. Katobi Waters, $2. SoundCloud, Katobi Music to overclock to GN Rock. $5 from Socrates says, love your channel. Is it 7980XE, by the way? Cheers from France. No, it's not a 7980XE. A 7980XE would be like 30% of this motherboard. That'd be really cool though. So yeah, that'd be a gigantic portion of the board. Let me check the, oh, there's a lot of store purchases I need to read too. So like I said, I'll read anyone who buys stuff from store.gamersnexus.net. We're about to run the physics test, so this is where we'll see if it dies or not. Store.gamersnexus.net. If you buy during the stream, I'll read off first name and where you're from as a shout out while we're live streaming. So this is running physics. It has this one and then maybe combined, and we'll see if it's stable at 4.8. Going for 10,000 points for the total score. We'll see how close we can get. I'd like to see 9,800, but we'll find out. I need to overclock the GPU still. First order to read off. Thomas from Texas. Thank you, Thomas. Purchased an autographed GN mod mat. I think that might have been the last one we had. I signed a couple more the other night, and I'm not going to be able to get out there to sign more until after Computex. So I might restock them. But if you buy one at this point, a signed mod mat, then it would ship after I'm back from Computex, because I'll have to drive out and sign it. And otherwise, the normal mod mats are still fully in stock. So thank you, Thomas, for that. We've got combined test running behind me. That's the last one before we can see what our progress and score is. Yep, we're out of the signed ones. I might add more of those and just sign them if everyone's okay with it when I get back. William from Germany, no, United States, but it's got a DE in it. I think it's, I don't know if that's a military base. I think it is. Last time someone told me it's a military base. AFB, DE, I think that's a military base or something. William bought a gray logo Tri-Blend t-shirt. Thank you, William. What was, oh, Tri-Blend, yeah. Tri-Blend's very popular. Everyone seems to like that one the most. Score, 8489. So I said I want 10,000. We're at 8,500 currently. Let's take a look at all of our scores here. Graphics, 9974. Physics, 14,717. That's pretty good. That's up from where we were. Combined, 3,000. So if you want a point of reference, you can just keep the camera on those scores for a second. I'm going to read you some other scores that we have. So CPU testing, let's get a physics score. So what did I say? We're at 14,717. So let me give you some perspective here. The AMD R5 1500X at 4 gigahertz. This was tested quite a while ago before the latest Windows patches. That was getting a physics score of 13,500. The Intel i5 8600K at 5 gigahertz was getting about 16,000. So this number right here, 14,717, on the 8600K at 5 gigahertz, that is 15,994. So that gives you, we're pretty close to an 8600K. Let me find one right around where that is. What's below it? 8600K stock, we got 13,300. And these numbers haven't been updated since we reviewed the 8600K, but that gives you a baseline of where we're sitting. Let me give you a high-end baseline as well. Top of our charts, we have this is from back when we reviewed Threadripper, so it's, whoa, actually that's really old data. Let me get something a bit newer. R7 2700X overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz. For that one, we got 22,000 for the physics score. So there's your perspective. And then GPU score, let me give you one on those. So GPU score is 9974. To get you an idea of that graphics score, we had the MSI 1050 Ti, what they call OC, but we didn't OC it. It was just pre-shipped that way, and it wasn't a big overclock. Anyway, 1050 Ti at 7785. So we're actually ahead of a 1050 Ti. What about a 1060? 1060. I just have a giant spreadsheet open. I'm checking right now. 1060 SSC got 13,411. So we're closer to a Ti than a 1060, but we're between them. And then let's get an AMD number as well. RX 570 was 12,560. So we're below 570 and above a 560 by quite a bit. 560 overclocked, we got 6,900. So there's your scores and your points of comparison. Let's get this number closer to 10,000, and to do that, we're going to start playing around with the GPU. And I'm going to push that CPU to 4.9 a bit later, but we can get bigger gains from the GPU, so let's start there. So first of all, we're going to change this to dynamic, and then let me try and get this visible for everyone. So we're currently at 1190 megahertz. So let's just, previously with the closed loop cooler, I know it was stable at 1330. This is kind of hard to read, sorry about that. So I know it was stable there. By the way, this feature, you can't like click these and set min and max like you can with the AMD GPUs, unfortunately. I know we can do 950 megahertz on the HBM2, which is 50 megahertz below the max. And then we also need power offset by 75%. Let's apply that. Let's see if it's stable. Again, we're starting to get kind of close to our thermal limits here. So at some point I am going to have to elevate this thing so it can breathe better. Actually, maybe I should do that now. What can I rest this on? Maybe the Leon Lee metal caged fans. Let's see if... Probably not the best idea to mess with this right now, actually. I'm gonna wait till we can turn it off for a second. Let's do that. So, I don't want to send a cable into one of the fans while it's cooling things. Anyway, so there's your update on all the stats for everything. Okay, so we got a couple more super chats for me to catch up on while that's benchmarking. Center negative, $4.99. Any indications that AMD will be up to their old embargo shenanigans with the upcoming Threadripper 2 release? I have no idea. With the 2700X, AMD was pretty agreeable. We got it, we circumvented them, got it anyway through someone else. I messaged AMD and I said, hey, I have the CPU. Do you want to work with me so that if I have questions I can ask you? And they were actually awesome to work with. So AMD has changed some of their media facing people, and it seems like things, I talked about this in an Ask GN episode, but it seems like things are getting better over there in terms of like marketing and PR and being able to work with people on a review. So I don't know what they're going to do for Threadripper 2, but as I understand it, the current staff there, at least a couple of them, don't want to do what happened with the Threadripper 1, where you have like 18,000 embargoes and some people get a special one even though everyone has the part. So I think they've gone away from that. Clifton Ward, $2. Steve, lol, love the Steve the Skank, lol, love the channel, man. Thank you very much, I guess. Hurry 16, €5. I learned so much watching your channel. I went from fanboying a red company to accepting a blue and a green company as options now. Thanks, Tech Jesus. Yeah, it's totally cool. AMD makes great stuff these days, especially. Ryzen's super competitive. This is halfway an AMD product. Intel and AMD work together on a Vega and an i7 basically amalgam. So they still make great stuff, but definitely is good to be, you know, buy what's good for you and not just stick to one company. So you got to look out for yourself too, because that's the companies are only looking out for themselves. Vincent Van Rigen, Buildzoid can XOC with an E-power, no brick needed. Yeah, I guess that's true, but also I want this to not be dead. But I don't know, I'll talk to him. The Martink 123, is it surviving? Yes, it is surviving right now. We're on the combined test, by the way, with a GPU overclock. The Martin C123, £5 for the whiskey shots. Thank you, Martin, for that. Jack Lee, $4.99. Not sure if you have answered this. What's the difference between overclocking using the BIOS and Intel Extreme Tuning, and do they fight each other? I think I did explain that earlier. I will Did it pass? I think it passed. It went black. Yeah, it passed. Okay, awesome. I went over it. I'll very briefly cover it again. Power limits are more exposed in Extreme Tuning Utility. They shouldn't fight each other because once you boot, it's going to pull from BIOS. So our score is 9650. That's quite a bit up from earlier. Start saving these so I can reference them. We're at 1330 megahertz GPU, 4.8 gigahertz CPU. No memory overclocking yet. So I was going for 10,000. We're at 9650. That's getting there. Graphics score 11,436. CPU hasn't really changed because I haven't overclocked it. And one more time, I'm going to give you a reference for GPU score. So graphics score, we are at 11,436, which is 2,000 points below a 1060. So like 10-20% in that range somewhere. And RX 570 is at 12,560. So 1,000 points below an RX 570. That's pretty damn good, I would say. That is super nice. I would buy a mouse mat, someone says, by the way. Yeah, so this is a mod mat that I'm using right now. Technically, I'm using mice on it. We don't advertise it as a mousing surface because it's really traction-y. It's a work mat. Super well, I mean, this one has some blood stains on it from when I sanded down that Ryzen APU. It does not come with blood stains, that's extra. But super traction-y matte, very resistant to things like spilling liquid cooling on it, and also somewhat to heat, as we showed in a recent video. So yeah, store.gamersnexus.net for those. Mouse mat, someone said they wanted. We're looking into those actively. So that's our score. Let's do a bit more overclocking on this, and I'm gonna get back to super chat in a minute if you're waiting for me. Thank you for being patient. So currently, 950 is our HBM configuration, and our CPU, sorry, our GPU clock, not CPU, is 1330. So let's just be kind of conservative and go up to 1350. And the score to beat is 9650, 11,400 for graphics score. If you are, I think this specific benchmark we're doing is free. So if you kind of want to play along, you can go to 3D Mark's website and download Firestrike. They're not a sponsor or anything, I just really like the software. I think this version is free, and you can run the test yourself if you want to see what your own graphics score is, so that you can kind of tag along and see how it compares to this thing. All right, so just because it's kind of fun to do that, I think everyone can have some overclocking fun. Last time we did it, we brought down the 3D Mark website by accident with the RIP LTT stream. So we've gone up 20 megahertz to see if it crashes. Last time it crashed around here. Someone says blood not included, nuck that. Business idea, sell your used mats. Why? So someone can get my DNA out of it, clone me? How much for mod mats signed in blood? I'll pay $50 extra for your blood sample. I'll pay $100 extra with blood stains and a pentagram painted around them. Okay, that's getting weird. Jack Lee, I answered that one. Spectre, does the motherboard have a PSU power limit? Trident GTX 1060 version does, so I could not upgrade to a 330 watt brick. I'm not fully sure I know what you mean. Does the motherboard have a power supply power limit? You should be able, I don't know what the OEMs do with their proprietary stuff, mind you. I don't pay attention to what Dell and HP and all them do these days. If you buy any board off the shelf, you should be able to pretty much plug any power supply into it. As far as how much power can it take before there's a problem, yeah, there are overcurrent limits. So you could trip overcurrent protection if you're like, let's say, I just had this happen the other day. Let's say you're working with a 7980XE, which is a huge power consumer, and you push like 50 amps to it with an overclock. A good amount of PSUs will trip and shut down, and that's from an overcurrent limit. So I don't know if that's what you mean. Sometimes you can control that through software if it's like a digital power supply like the AX1600i or something. Sometimes you can't. So there might be an overcurrent protection limit. Certainly the motherboard can only take so much. Like if you're dumping current into the VRMs and it's not a good VRM, it'll kind of have a limit in that it will thermal shut down at some point and won't be able to tolerate it anymore. Okay, so next one. Hi Huable says, keep up the good work, €5. By the way, which CPU are you using? 8809G. I'm gonna memorize it by the end of the stream if you guys keep asking. 8809G. It's supposedly an i7. I think it's actually a 4-core 8-thread. I'll check in a minute though when this test is done. Ye canny day that. £5. Hey Steve, I don't need a big mod mat, but would totally buy a GN mouse mat. Consider making some. Yes, we are actively doing that. Thank you for your interest. I'm being very picky about the materials, so we're trying to do something more special than just like buy it off a shelf and put a label on it. So it's going to take a little while because I need samples, need to figure out what materials we're combining exactly. People seem to really want the stitching around the borders, so I think we'll do that. But the rest of it's still being figured out. So we'll get there, but give us some time. It takes a long time to do samples for custom products. And then you can't do that. £2. Who is the best John, Romero or Carmack? I'm gonna go with Carmack. Carmack's a pretty smart guy. All right, let me get back to the orders while this is running. I can like barely keep up. Combined test just finished. Why don't we show them the score for a second while I check 2 or 3 orders. Vincent Wilson bought the keychain. Thank you, Vincent, for that. We appreciate it. The $10 keychain's an easy pickup item. I'm gonna block the score. There you go. It's kind of visible. Technically, it has a blue LED in it, but we don't include batteries. But yeah, thank you, Vincent, for that. And what is our score? Our score is 96.98, not hugely improved, 11.543, so we need to push harder than that. Aaron from Virginia purchased a mod mat. Thank you very much, Aaron. Let's see. Otto from Sweden purchased a medium teardown crystal. Thank you, Otto. And some stickers and decals, some GN stickers. I'm going to read a couple more. We had James from Texas purchase a couple of things, actually. Extra parts, bought an extra ESD wrist strap and common ground point, bought an anti-static mod mat from us, thank you. Those just came in, by the way, so they are shipping this week. Teardown crystal, medium size, and a keychain. Thank you very much, James from Texas. All right, I'm going to update the stock in a minute to have some more signed mats because people seem to want them, and we're out right now, but I'll go sign some more. So our score, 96.98, 11.543, and let's just save this score. That was the camera, don't be alarmed, we're just unlocking it from its position. 1350 megahertz GPU, 4.8 gigahertz CPU, so we're definitely stuck on the GPU right now for score. Let's go ahead and just keep doing 20 megahertz increments. 1370. We're past where we were stable with that the closed loop liquid cooler before. So if the extra thermal headroom from this one is doing anything for us, it's increasing the GPU frequency a bit. Like we've got a bit more headroom on that. And I want to get hardware info open just so we can see how hot the GPU is getting. 1 second while I open that up. It seems to get stuck in processes sometimes. All right, so that's going to take a second to open on the NUC. For some reason it takes forever on the NUC to open up. So let me add a couple more autographed mats while that's opening. I'll go sign those, I guess, before we leave if I can. Otherwise, when I'm back. All right, so let's add... Okay, I think we got some more in there. Oh, yeah, nice. Our distributor actually added more for me. He saw we were live streaming. Said, hey, Steve, I saw you sold out of autographed mod mats, and I added some more. Didn't want to interrupt you. Thank you very much for doing that for us. If you want one, I guess they are actually in stock. And that also means I have to drive a total of an hour to go sign some more. But that's fine. It's fun to do, and I'm glad we can provide that for everyone. Okay, so what I want is GPU temperature, which is going to be way down here somewhere. And let's just pull up GPU thermal diode and GPU HBM temperature, and we're going to let those sit while we run a test. If it doesn't crash at 1370 megahertz, which is now beyond where we were stable previously, and actually we're just going to do a graphics test, save everyone some time, because we don't need to run physics for this. So let's I mean, we might as well, let's just do 2 graphics tests and see if it's stable, and keep an eye on the thermals while it's doing that. And then I'll read more super chats and everything in a moment, but I want to pay attention to this machine for a second, make sure we can get the best overclock out of it that we can. All right, so thermal diode, currently 26 degrees Celsius. Ambient temperature is probably like 23 or 4 in here. Probably 23. All right, so just for the duration of Firestrike, it's not going to be stressed a whole lot. Also, if you missed it earlier, we've got liquid metal on here. So I replaced the Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut with Thermal Grizzly Conductonaut, which should be linked in the description below if you want to pick some up. They are the advertiser for the stream. And the Conductonaut is definitely doing its job. I put thermal tape, Captain tape all around and nail polish to protect the small SMDs. So we're good to go there. It helped a lot though. We were kind of thermal limited previously. And I didn't expect it to do a lot because it's already a bare die. But the thing is, this kind of it's a high concentration of heat in a small area, so I guess every bit helps. And the bigger problem was the water block we have on it has, like I said, macro fins, not micro fins, so it's kind of potentially a bit limited in that regard. All right, so we're at 39, 40, 37 for HBM. Everything's perfectly good here, and it hasn't crashed, so we might actually be able to run these settings. A couple new orders came in. One from Guillaume. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Guillaume from Belgium. I don't think we've had an order from there for a while. So from Belgium, bought a keychain, thank you very much, and a teal logo tri-blend shirt. Thank you for that, Guillaume, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And we are low on stock for that shirt, but we've got a couple left, I think. Still running some tests over here behind me. It's just kind of looping for a second while we make sure it doesn't crash at 1370 megahertz on the GPU, quite a bit higher than where we were previously. Benjamin from Wisconsin purchased an autographed mod mat, thank you Benjamin, a medium teardown logo crystal, and a graph logo shirt in tri-blend. Again, very popular it seems. I guess for the comfort on that one and the weight, it's pretty lightweight. Corey from Canada. What is, I used to know what these acronyms were. What is this place? What province is this? Manitoba. Manitoba, Canada. Picked up an anti-static mod mat autographed. Thank you, Corey. Like I said, does not include the blood, just the signature. So hopefully that doesn't disappoint anyone. And then finally here, Thomas from Idaho purchased a teardown crystal with LED base and an anniversary edition teal logo tri-blend. Okay, awesome. Thank you for the support, guys. We appreciate it. Been a really fun stream so far as well. I'm going to get to super chat in a moment. So this is stable. Let's get back to some overclocking before I go back to the viewer interaction stuff. It looks really stable actually. Thermals are great. We're at 40 degrees Celsius. Ambient temperature is probably about 23. GPU HPM is 38. What's our CPU should be doing? Basically nothing right now. Yeah, CPU is like in the 40s. Very cool. Okay, so I should have left that open. Let's go ahead and push for, I should have left that open too. Let's push for 1390. I think we're going to start hitting stability limitations soon, so I really hope we can get that 10K number I want. 1390 runs custom benchmark, so we'll see if it crashes. If it doesn't crash after one pass of each graphics test, I will push for, I guess, 1410. When does the stream end? The stream ends when I hit 10,000 points in Firestrike, or when it's impossible to achieve that. And right now we're just trying to stabilize a we're trying to unstabilize a GPU overclock. We're trying to find the point of failure for it. I also noted previously for early viewers that I'm a bit afraid of an unstable overclock on the CPU because I've had experiences with this NUC where with too low voltage and too glamorous of an overclock, I've lost the operating system and had to reinstall. So I'm trying to save that for the end, because if it happens, I'd like it to be the end of the stream, not the middle of it. We passed round 1, so it is stable at 1390. 6 gigahertz when? Not anytime soon. When will the NUC burn? Hopefully not. You know what? That's a good point. We should add this. Those chokes on the top are probably pretty hot, actually. So very good point. Thank you for asking. Hopefully the answer is not right. Well, I don't know. Maybe it'd get a lot of views. Hopefully the answer is during the stream. In that case, I need an extra fan header. There's not one. There's not one. This is just basically it's just an ATX power supply that's jumped and plugged into the fans and Molex. I don't see, do you see any like headers like that anywhere? There should be one. If not, then I'll go get another one. Looks like we are still stable though. Oh, there's one. Okay, so all I'm going to do is rest this up here and hopefully it doesn't fall in. Maybe I should tape it. Probably. Who wants to bet it falls off as soon as I plug it in? Nope. You lost your bet. Alright, so that's just going to provide some airflow onto the chokes. Technically it's opposing airflow, but it's so far away I don't think it's going to matter. And it looks like we're stable on our overclock, so that actually should help a bit. Nice rat's nest of cables. Yeah, I know. It's zip tied though. It's a cable managed rat's nest. Does running multi-monitors take away from performance? In this, we had issues with it where we were having just stream issues in general. I'm not sure how much it impacts performance on the NUC. It is pretty limited on what it can do. I mean, it can do multi-monitor, but I didn't want to take too much away from our score, especially because it just was blacking out, not working. Anyway, that was stable. So I want this to crash before we do another full run. So let's do 1410. That's another 20 megahertz jump. I don't know when we're going to crash. It should have happened already. So this liquid cooler is doing its job for sure. Way better than the closed loop. Let's see how if that's stable. Is this something you would recommend doing at home? If you're okay with cracking the interposer or the HBM or the CPU or the GPU die, if you're okay with like destroying the silicon potentially, sure. And normally that's not a risk at all. Like this kind of overclocking, totally okay to do. Just, you know, don't, just be careful. So for a normal like desktop system, general advice, stay away from or be careful of system agent voltage on Intel and SoC voltage on AMD. Those are two really easy ways to cause permanent damage and degradation of the IMC, the integrated memory controller. And be careful of vCore. Don't push that too high. Typically, you'll run out of thermal headroom before you run out of vCore headroom. And also, the voltages we run during streams, not of this, but like of the 7980XE, for DRAM and for the CPU, those are fine for benchmarking on a stream, but I wouldn't recommend them for daily. So keep that in mind as well. And then what I recommend doing this specifically, it's a lot of fun. I really like this box. So I'm super happy with it, and I would do it again. Did we crash? No, we completed it. Okay, cool. Oh, no, wait. I don't know what happened, actually. Yes, it crashed. Okay, so we crashed at 1410. So 1400 might be our limit. We'll see. I'm going to have to restart. So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thanks, Windows, for the non-functional power button. Seriously? All right. Anyone want to see a trick? So, shut down because Windows 10 sucks. .bat. And then I can't see what I'm typing. Shutdown -s -t1. Save this. We're just making a batch file. So, this is actually super useful. And if it happens again, I'm not gonna have to do this again. I don't want to hold the button to shut it down. Still can't see options, view, show, don't hide, don't hide, don't hide, don't hide. Okay, apply. Power strip just fell off the wall. Too bad you missed that. That was a pretty good one. The power strip powering like all of this just fell off the wall and onto the floor. All right, here's the trick. Got 'ems. Take that, Windows. All right, so we just made a batch file. If you've never done that, it's super useful. Right-click the start menu for shutdown. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Start button doesn't work. So I did right-click it. I did left-click it. It's just there's zero input. And you could Alt F4 on desktop, but also you can make a batch file and never have to mess with it again. So we made a batch file. All right. You can use command prompt, yes, and open it with my non-functional start menu by making a batch file to open it. Or maybe Windows R might work. There's a couple good questions here in Super Chat. Acid Rain, will you do more Adobe CC benchmarks like Photoshop and Lightroom? There are not too many of those out there. I don't know. Like Photoshop, I think you're mostly going to be talking about probably filters and stuff. Filters and transforms, maybe. I'm not sure the best way, because we've benchmarked those in the past, and we've run trace benchmarks of them. Typically, you're like fractions of a second difference for applying filters and things between high-end devices. I don't know what the most intensive stuff you can do in Photoshop or Lightroom would be. So if you have ideas, I guess, again, tweet them at us. That's where I'll probably see it even if I don't reply. Tweet at Gamers Nexus with what you do with other Adobe applications that you think is really intensive. I can look into it. I'm not an expert on using those specific ones, but we can come up with something, I'm sure. This is rebooting, by the way. Max Samson, 279 Canadian, buy Snowflake and RGB collar. I feel like she'd end up just chasing herself in circles. She really likes infrared thermometers. So, the Martin says, sorry, but what is the CPU again? It's an 8809G, I think. All right. So we were unstable. at 1410 megahertz. Let's see if we can just do what kind of score we get at 1400. Black Lodge Games, $2. Would you consider GN joining float plane hashtag RipLTT? I've talked about that in Ask GN episodes before. Probably search for float plane. I've talked about it twice this year, I think. We presently have no plans. I really like the Patreon and Discord setup. I also really like what Luke's doing, but I would need to see something more that we can work with before we do anything like that. No, we don't want 14,000 megahertz. 1400, and we're going to 950 on the HPM. I haven't tried, well, I've tried 1,000, and I know that's not stable. I haven't tried 975. Max out the power offset, and let's get one of these open. So XT is going to allow us to reapply those same settings, hopefully, without having to type them all in, although there weren't many. 0.08, 4.8 gigahertz. Looks like we're good to go. Just make sure that's applied. So we crashed at 1410. Let's see what score we get at 1400, and then we can push the CPU and the memory to try and make up the difference. We might fall a bit short of the 10,000 points I want, but we'll see. I'll try and get at least 9,800. You most definitely do want 14 gigahertz. I think that might be asking a bit much. I do want that setting though. That'd be sweet. Zero Matter is running a benchmark. If you missed it, there you go. Oh, is it going? Or is it crashing? It might be crashing, so maybe it's not running a benchmark. It's just maybe 1400 might be asking too much. That kind of suck. It's still 70 megahertz higher than what I was expecting, but I just want more. Zero Matter, $5. Thank you very much. If you do a mouse pad, can you do an XXL one for keyboard and mouse, please? Also, what CPU is this again? It's an 8809G. And at this point, I might just make your XXL mouse pad you want and put the numbers 8809 and the letter G straight across it. You know, we can even do a branded, we can do a GN logo on it, so then everyone will know what CPU it is. I'd certainly consider an XL mouse pad. I'm not sure what sizes are most popular. I think 32 by 12 is pretty popular. Looks like it's trying to boot. What do we want? Yes or no? We want no. Okay, so let's let that boot. 14,000 gigahertz is a bit much. Maybe try 13,750 gigahertz. You know what? I think that's actually where my mistake was. I think we needed to set it a bit lower and less ambitious, like 13,000 gigahertz. Is that 13 terahertz at that point? Is that 13.7 terahertz? One more. To read Royal Leah says, $10. Just wanted to say I enjoy your content. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. $10 will go towards, I don't know, what do we want to put it towards? Fried chicken? Shrugs. Pizza? Last time people were demanding waffles, coffee, beer, tacos, pizza, and chicken, I think. Which I'm not sure we can achieve all of that at once. Maybe we'll put it towards the Computex trip and get some food there. Alright, so hopefully this is all stable. Let's go back to, I guess, 1390 megahertz. And let's run a full pass with that. See how far that gets us. 1390. 950. Oh, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering, this voltage control, I've messed with this for the NUC, and it maxes out at 1150 millivolts, I think. Yes. And unfortunately, using it basically causes an instant crash if I apply it. Like, it'll blue screen. It's pretty bad. I don't know if that's a bug or what. So I found leaving it on auto means it doesn't crash. So we're going to go with that. Max the slider. Apply. All right, full pass the 3D mark at hopefully stable settings. See what our score is. There we go. Okay, maybe the processor isn't getting to 10K points because it's lacking RGB. You know, I saw a comment on on Paul's recent video, I think it was like, has RGB gone too far or something like that? I don't remember. But I saw a comment that was like, Paul, you missed a part. The CPU isn't RGB. And it just made me wonder, when are we going to get an IHS that's RGB illuminated? Because it could totally be done. It'd also be completely pointless, but then again, look at all the other RGB stuff. Let's see. Future reference, what kind of temps are you getting? Water temperatures? I don't have a probe in the water, unfortunately. Have you tried lifting the rig for more airflow? No, we do need to do that. We're in like the 40s for the GPU, which is really good. And we're in like the 90s. We're kind of pushing it for the CPU, but only during the physics test. Okay. Alexander Styles. A few of us posted some kind of suggestions, some music suggestions, excuse me, in the RIP LTT stream. Did you ever check out the Deer Hunter? Highly recommend Act 4 if you haven't yet. That's scrolling up. Love the content. Cheers from Canada, not from Canada. Yes, I actually did. I checked out a bunch of them. So I think we had like 4 bands or albums people wanted me to listen to. So listen to all of them. I can't differentiate which is which right now, but I definitely listened to everything because I made a list and checked them all out. And I appreciate the suggestions. Let's see. The Martin. I would like a "What CPU is it?" branded shirt. Oh, maybe we will do that. Maybe that's what we should do. Nasiel with a knife, $10. Hey Steve, do you have any opinions on enterprise level systems such as IOMMU with GPUs? I've been pretty devastated since it turns out that Vega didn't support it after all the rumors last year. Unfortunately, I don't. Just kicked a cable. I had to make sure I didn't unplug something. I do not have any real experience with enterprise systems. Kind of focus on consumer and gaming. Really not qualified to talk about it, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Maybe Wendell from Level 1 Techs, that's where he specializes. Try him. I'm not sure who else might know that kind of stuff. One from normal chat I want to address here while we're running these tests. When are you leaving for Computex? Will you have scheduled videos while we're gone? We will be uploading, should be still every day while we're gone, because we're going to be at Computex. So we're going to be making videos on the show floor. It'll probably be multiple videos a day, just like we did with CES. So if you are worried about not getting stuff in your sub feed, manually either check Twitter, where we'll tweet them, or manually check the youtube.com/gamersnexus page, a couple times a day. The first day tends to be a bit slower because obviously we have to start making the videos to upload them. But by end of first day, we'll have a few videos up. Next day, we'll have a few videos up. So we're going for probably 2 to 4 a day, depending on how much there's to talk about that day. So yeah, we'll still have videos. We're not abandoning you for Computex. Okay, so there we go, 9860. That's our score. So graphics score 11787, pretty damn good. Even though we're stuck at 1390, we're so close to 10,000, but also so far away. Firestrike, if you don't know, leans really heavily on the GPU, so we can only get so much out of the CPU and the memory. So if we're stuck at 1390, we might not be able to hit 10,000, but I'm going to try. Let's just go ahead and save this. 1390 megahertz GPU, 4.8 gigahertz CPU, okay. And let's do, I know for sure we're going to have to increase the voltage. I kind of have an idea of where it's going to have to be because I pre-tested a bit for this one. So I'm just going to go there right away. And I think we're going to run into thermal problems now. So we're doing 4.9, 0.13, which is high, but I think it's going to be needed. And 41, let's go 43 on that. We might be pushing our power limitations here. Okay, so if anything, the combined test is going to be the worst. What we're going to do now is see if it crashes, but also see if it's limiting anywhere. So one cool thing about XTU, I typically prefer to overclock with BIOS. For this, I've explained why we're using XTU. It is a bit better for the NUC. It exposes more options. And Intel is your only vendor for the BIOS, so we don't have any choices. One thing I like about it is down here in the bottom, if we can get a shot down here maybe, it is actually really good about showing what limits are hitting. Same with hardware info, but it's condensed. So we can see thermal throttles, we can see power limits, we can see current limits. These are the two that I'm most concerned about because we have a 230 watt brick. So what we're going to do is run this windowed and see if we hit any of those and how quickly. And I'm thinking we are going to at least hit one, if not two or three limits of some kind. A couple orders while that's launching. Rudolph from Finland. Thank you, Rudolph. Rudolph purchased a Raglan hoodie, which we restocked, I think, last stream. So we should still have some of those in stock. It's the blue and black two-tone hoodie, lightweight, so it's great for spring or cool summer weather. Sean from the US purchased a mod mat. And thank you, Sean. We really appreciate it. The mod mat orders are awesome because we're proud of the product and like seeing it get out there. And then we got one from Christoph, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Poland, who bought a one of the 15-ounce ceramic mugs, which is actually the same one that's holding some dead memory in it right here. Not drinkable. I hope that's making everyone cringe. That's probably $300 of memory, and it doesn't even work. It's so sad. All right. So we're just running a test now, see at what are we getting for limits. So we're hitting a current limit down here. That's turning yellow sometimes. That's a current limit. Definitely hitting the current limit. So current limit throttling. CPU temperature is fine, but this is not a CPU test. It's not the physics test. So we're at 42. I need to see what we are during physics tests. Core frequencies, are those, what does that say? Does that say 49? I like that I can just look at the camera view. Up here, up towards the top. Thank you. Okay. Very helpful. Thank you, Firestrike. Where am I? Oh, right there. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, yeah, we're throttling big time. So that should be 4.9. We're thermal throttling now. What's our temperature? Right there. Okay. So we've got one core at 98, which is a thermal throttle for sure. So let's try elevating this thing. I'm going to shut it down just so I don't suck a cable into the fan. And we're going to find something to elevate it with and then see if that gives us a bit more. Airflow can only help so much, unfortunately. We are going to be limited by everything else, but let's give it a shot. So all the fans, pretty cool, just attached to this switch. And then the NUC is separately attached to this cable. So they are isolated. And now I just need to figure out what to put this thing on. So if we just do like this and then put a box on either side, I guess, or where are the fans? Those are not really meant for that. Okay. Oh, someone says, currently watching on my Hades Canyon. Thanks for all the videos showing this thing so much love or torture. $5 from Mike Bates. Yeah, Mike, it's an awesome system. I really do like it. We are not using it as intended, but it's pretty fun to work with. I'm gonna pull some fan boxes. Okay, so there's a lot of cables to work with here. Let's get this elevated and see if that helps. Can I get you to slide one box under that side? So the goal is to elevate it without blocking the fans. So I'm gonna put the back part of this on this one like this. And then if you can get that, yeah, so we're gonna block one fan. Well, it's still elevated more than it was. So maybe if we just do the corner. Can you line that up for just the corner? Thank you. And then we need another one for that corner. So is this box roughly the same height? Yes. Can you put that under the other corner? We're using the EVGA fans and the Silverstone fans as intended. That's more or less okay. It's a microcosm of our wobbly table. I have another Silverstone box. Let's use this one. Can you pull that EVGA fan? Okay, I bet the room is getting toasty. Yeah, it's getting warmer, that's for sure. Use pucks. So many use pucks requests. I don't think it's really the best fit. All right, let's try this. That definitely elevates. Yeah, that's pretty good. That elevates the fans a lot. So let's give this a shot. Why is this so much farther away than it was a minute ago? Okay. Oh, so close. Oh, did the brick fall on the floor? Yeah. Where's this? Hang on. This cable, where's that going? Can you bring that up to the table? Yeah, thank you. All right, guys, we're just elevating everything, including the storage protector because it fell down earlier and I left it there. Please don't fall. All right, that should be okay. Let's get this plugged in. Okay, and this back on top. And I don't hear any cables getting sucked into the fan, so that's a plus. There's our choke cooling fan. Everything's good. Everything's back on. Put ice cubes in the reservoir. We run out of, unfortunately, melting ice will just still turn into liquid and fill the reservoir quickly, and then we have condensation to consider too. Maybe another time. I did genuinely consider wrapping it in shop towel and putting the reservoir in an ice bucket, but let's see if this improves anything for us. We might be just, let's see if, I don't know if we're crashing or if it's just waking itself back up. Looks like crashing. So let's give it a second to figure out what it's doing with its life. A couple questions to go through while it's figuring itself out. With a pH, Mr. Fucht, P-H-U-C-T, I think that's how it's pronounced. HBM at 963. I haven't tried that. We've done 950, or was it reading 963 maybe? We want no. Okay, no on the prompt. Okay, just do it for chat, please. The chilling, I guess. Yeah, it would be fun, but not really the best setup to try and do that right now. Alexander, $5 Canadian. Question for you guys. I'd really like to hear your opinion. Has anyone really been far, even as decided to use even go want to do look more like? I think, yes, actually, I've heard about that a few times. It's one of the biggest products in the industry right now is the use to look more like and to go far as. So yeah, I think that's the answer. Nassel with a knife. One more question. Do you have any benchmarks for what razor you're using on your beard? Looking for a new one, and I need some comparisons. I don't even know what it's called. That's how much I care. We got a bit of a flicker there when I... Uh-oh. Got screen flickering going on. I've seen that before. Sometimes it just needs a bit of a rest, and then that goes away. Okay. So let's... Oh, I see what's going on. Please drop all of these. It resets some of my settings, but not all of them. So it's freaking out a bit. I think we're going to need to... Let me shut this down for a second, because I've had this before. Make sure all the fans are spinning. Yes, they're spinning. Okay, so we're gonna give this a break for a second. It just needs to relax for a minute. I've seen it do that a few times. Okay. All right, it was a close one. All right, let me give that just like about a minute or two, and then we'll reboot it. Submerge the whole bench in mineral oil. Okay. So, what questions have I missed here? You can't do that. 8809G. That's, yes, it is the 8809G. That's the CPU we're using by mandate, I guess. Mike Bates, $5. Currently working on my Hades Canyon. Oh, I think I saw that one. Yeah, watching my Hades Canyon. Yeah. Leon Korsov, $5. Thank you very much. Leon says, I've never seen you wear your hair in a ponytail. Do you hate hair ties? I have one right here. I did the last few live streams when it started getting really hot in this room. This thing is not that crazy hot. So thanks for the Alexander, $2 Canadian. Thanks for the response. Now I know what to do. I'm glad I helped somehow. Okay. Let's give it a shot, see if it's still freaking out with the graphics artifacting. Maybe with 100% fewer falling fans this time. Can't divide by 0, I guess, but you get the idea. And okay, all the fans are spinning, so should be better. Maybe. Okay, get this open. Please no freaking out. Just in case, we're going to reset everything and reapply and see if we can push the CV to 4.9 now that we have a bit better airflow under there. You know what? I think I have an idea. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 4.8 gigahertz for the multiplier. And then we are going to do, I know this needs to be offset pretty high, so let's just go heavy-handed again. And we're going to change the reference clock. So we're going off by 1 megahertz, or 101 megahertz now. This will give us something like, I don't know, 4860 or something like that megahertz. It'll be pretty close to 49x, that is. And let's try that. So I'm just going to run a physics test, and then we'll go back to graphic stuff, just kind of one variable at a time. Let's get the CPU down and leave it alone and get the memory down as well. That should be pretty quick, hopefully, if it doesn't crash a bunch. All right, so physics only needed. No, Firestrike did the thing it does where it rechecks all the options. It's a bit of a trick with Firestrike. You have to click out of the window, otherwise it'll recheck everything you unchecked. Okay. Loop. Or window, that's what I want. Run. Okay. Let's see if it's stable at 48 whatever it is right now. Hardware info. Takes so long to open with this. No, I've heard all your power comes from your hair. Can I buy a lock so I can take over the world? It's a bit of a jump, don't you think? I don't know. We did have that one mod mat we stapled up in the tube with like 40 staples. Maybe there's a hair stuck to one of those or something. XX Sinful Griff. For an editing, streaming, gaming rig, 2700X or 8700K. I'm seriously torn. I can't decide. Let's go with editing first. Well, gaming, they're both going to be good. Like, they're both fine. Technically, the 8700K can push a bit harder if you're doing like 1080p gaming with a high-end GPU where you're not GPU bottlenecked. And we passed, by the way. The score was 12,380, so it did pass. That sounds a bit low. I feel like it should be like 14,000. So maybe we were thermal throttling. Let's just double check that. 8700K though, technically a bit of a lead in gaming. Does it matter? Probably not a whole lot for most people. Just look at the percent differences, see if you actually care at that frame rate. So I'm sure some would, some wouldn't. If you're streaming though, that's a different story. So streaming while gaming is a completely different beast, because in our streaming test, without any tweaks to affinity or priority at all, the lower end Intel CPUs especially would have some trouble where Ryzen did not. And you can check our 2700X review for all of those benchmarks. I don't keep them in my head forever, so I'd encourage you to do that. We are definitely thermal throttling right now. Let me see if I can get away with a little bit lower voltage. I don't know that I can, but let's go for like 0.12 maybe. It's probably gonna crash. Let's see. For editing and video production, both are fine. Like, we have a benchmark also to check out, the Adobe Premiere benchmark. So the 2700X is faster stock than the 8700K stock in Adobe Premiere if you're not using the IGP. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I want to say it was like in the 30s for our test. Obviously completely depends on what you're rendering, but ours was 30-something minutes for the 2700X, and I think 40-something minutes for the 8700K stock. Once you got the IGP going with the new hardware acceleration, Intel kept up a lot better. but it depends what software you're using. In general, the 8700K, if you're not using some special acceleration, is going to be a bit faster in multi-threaded tasks than the 8700K, 2700X that is. So I like both, and I would push you to watch our Adobe Premiere video and our 2700X review to get more concrete thoughts where I like pick a side, because I had obviously more time to think about it there. Okay, so a bit warm. Let's see if that fan helps at all. I just connected another fan while I was answering that. We are down a bit in voltage though, so that's really good to see. Okay. Is it colder outside than inside? If so, you can try opening the window. I don't think so. It's probably like 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Yeah, so someone said you probably have poor contact with the CPU. I think so, because, well, no, jumping from 40 to 90 in no time is not crazy. The reason I think there might be poor contact is because we have one that's 60 and one that's like 100. So I have an idea of what that is. It's because I didn't tighten it super hard because I was concerned about cracking the interposer. So I wish I knew where core 2 and core 0 were, because then I could just tighten that side. Let's see which screw is the loosest. That's okay. I need to get this fan off the top. Okay, all right. No hazards. That screw's a bit loose. Let's just give it a quarter turn. That screw's fine. That one's probably fine. All right, so I gave one screw like a quarter turn. I don't know if it'll change anything. We will find out. Yeah, I'm running these kind of looser than I probably should, but it is really easy to over tighten this and crack everything, so got to be careful with it. Let's see if the deltas are closer. Get this hazardous fan back on top. This is the most dangerous part of today. All right. Okay. Alexander, $5 Canadian. When you get your final overclock, you should see how it performs with the stock cooler after the Firestrike scores test is set. So we already know, actually, we did a review of Hades Canyon and the stock cooler, and we did some thermal benchmarks. And I can't remember, I think I was stuck, oh, I know, I was stuck at about 4.3 gigahertz. And then we put the 280 millimeter Be Quiet CLC on it, and we got stuck at 4.7 gigahertz. And now we're kind of at 4870, but it's occasionally throttling. You know, I need to close hardware info and reopen it so I can clear everything. But yeah, we're quite a bit further where we were with the stock unit. One more test here. Let's see if it's stable and what temperatures we're looking at. Martin, £5. That looks like an Intel CPU. Why not use a Ryzen? Shill question mark. Yes, the Hades Canyon NUC featuring an AMD Vega GPU. Definitely shilling material there. I do sense your sarcasm though, I hope. I really hope that's sarcasm. We could try ripping the unit out, I guess, and just randomly picking solder joints to solder a Ryzen CPU to it. That'd probably satisfy some people. Thermals haven't really improved. Need a chiller is what I need. What can I do? Contacts, we can lower ambient. Let's just try and get like 1 degree out of the thermostat. 1 or 2. If we can drop it 1 or 2 degrees, that'll be good. So set it to like 68 or 9. Thanks. So we're gonna try some last ditch efforts. I might tighten some screws, otherwise we'll have to drop the settings a bit. Run liquid metal through the water cooling loop, world's first. It's kind of a liquid. Okay. Data Q. $5. Andrew's getting a thermostat. Keep up the good dude. Working on shoehorning the Ryzen 2700X rig into a PowerMac G5 case while watching. That sounds like fun. Glad to be on in the background while you're doing that. Sounds like a good project. Beyond 4K, $5. The users demand more Snowflake. We expect every non-live video, thank you for making that exclusion, to include the CEO. Don't disappoint us. Jack Lee, why aren't you monitoring the VRM MOS? Because I don't care. I'm assuming it's fine. We have such CPU problems, it's not going to matter. I mean, the VRM is under the heatsink as well, so it should be okay. I'll check though, just in case. But I do not think it's going to be a problem. There should be a readout in here for it. Let me see. I think they call it motherboard. Motherboard. SSD2, motherboard, PCH. I mean, the CPU is going to be the big problem, not the VRM, I don't think. VRM temperature, there you go. If you're really curious, oh, that's the GPU. Well, might as well, I guess. A couple VRM temperature readers. All right. Anyway, that was semi-successful. So we've got the thermostat dropped a bit. I'm going to check the screws one more time, see if there's anything that can be tightened without cracking something. That one's pretty much maxed. Okay, one more. Okay, I think that's the best we can do, really. So at this point, we're going to be left down to liquid metal contact, which I'm not going to disassemble it on stream. That'll just be a huge pain, probably, and not really worth it. Okay, let's run the benchmarks as is. If I can get this to pass, I need to know if our frequency stays fixed. So let's get 2 of these open. We're just going to run a full pass, see if the frequency dips during the benchmark, and then step it back if so. We could probably also drop voltage a bit. Let's do this first, and then drop the voltage and see if it crashes. Okay, Jack Lee, why aren't... Oh, you got that one. Sinful Griff, $5. Appreciate the input, man. After we're done here, I'll check out the 2700X review again. Yeah, I mean, I certainly have a lot of thoughts on it. The 8700K does really well, but also the 2700X competes decently in streaming, video production, stuff like that. It really depends on the software. This is more a question of software optimization than anything, because like we saw with Adobe Premiere, it's ahead there, and then it gets behind it with IGP acceleration on Intel. So everything's contingent on software and what you use. I don't think there's a reason to feel disappointed with either of those two options, though. It's AMD's best effort in a while. 2700X gets a bit hot when you overclock it, but that's fine. And Intel certainly gets hot. And the 8700K is Intel's best effort in a while, so I wouldn't be upset with either of those. You can't do that. 5 quid. What non-tech related YouTube channels do you watch? Do you watch Cody's Lab? I have heard of Cody's Lab and probably seen some. I watch some mountain biking stuff. Lately I've been watching a lot of like learning Mandarin YouTube videos. That's proven really helpful. That's most of it, really, like some Aaron Gwynn mountain biking. Let's see. Zero Matter 457. Use 480 rads together and tape them to a box fan. Jay did something like that. Ton 4 US, €5. I'm disappointed. You had the chance to call it Styx Canyon instead of Liquid Hades Canyon. We were calling it Hades River for a bit, but Styx Canyon's a good one. Born Mega, $5. Try using a copper shim to make better contact with the CPU. Yeah, not on live stream, but the GPU and the CPU height are very slightly different on this. So that's kind of the part of the concern with why I don't want to go too hard on tightening it, because I know one side's making more forceful contact on the other side, but it's set up in a way that I set it up so that the GPU is the, well, it's basically the cold plate. If you watch the video, the cold plate is slightly higher on one side than the other. And I've lined that up inversely to the height difference, so we should be okay. But worst case, the GPU is making less contact in theory, and we have a lot more thermal headroom there. It's lower heat flux, especially HBM. So, but there's still some big core deltas. So I don't know what we can do about that other than new liquid metal, but I think we're going to get pretty far with this, though. it seems to be succeeding. We'll just see how much it's thermal throttling. Okay, any more orders? So like I said previously, if you buy anything from the GN store while you're watching this, while the stream's going, I'll read off first name, where you're from, and what you bought. And we certainly appreciate it. It's basically funding today's video production, though we're shooting hardware news after this, and it is already 6:20, so we'll be fine on that though. Anyway, store.gamersnexus.net if you want to pick something up. The mod mats are in stock and shipping basically as the orders come in now, so it's not a back order anymore. And the crystals, so back here, the GN logo teardown crystals with, I think we can get a shot of that. It's a 3D logo. It's pretty sweet actually. So it's 3D laser engraved. We have those in stock as well. They came in the other day. And we also have the new $10 keychains in if you want to grab one of those. So anyway, that's the stuff we got. This is still kind of processing the benchmark results. I'm waiting for it. In the meantime, let me check the frequencies. This never dropped below what we set it to. We were not throttling. Oh yeah, very nice. We were not thermal throttling. What are these other, I can't read any of this from where it is. HPM temperature was fine. 34 degrees is kind of max. GPU diode's fine, 35. Wow, that's doing really well. CPU is struggling though. GPU VRM temperature, if anyone's curious, is like 30s. Definitely fine. Other VRM temperature is 48, so we're like 100 degrees away from anything concerning. And get this over here. Here's our CPU core thermals. So although in the 90s we are no longer at thermal throttle territory, which was like, I mean, we're very close. 1 degree Celsius difference between them. So very, very close to thermal throttle territory. Let's close all this stuff. And I don't know why it's processing the score still. But what we can do is let's get a memory overclock on here. Very simple one. And by memory overclock, I mean I'm going to turn on XMP2. And depending on how far that goes, we can play with it more. But I want to turn that on without any tuning and see how far that gets our score. And then we'll probably be pretty close to calling it, because we're at 9860 points already, and I want 10,000. I don't know how close we can get. Latest order was from Thomas from Norway. Thank you, Thomas. Thomas ordered the original, the OG Gamers Nexus logo shirt, and I think cotton. So thank you for picking that up. That is our oldest shirt design that we have, and it's still actually one of the most complex, because it's front and back print and a couple colors. Rubens from the UK bought one of our ceramic mugs. Thank you, Rubens. We just restocked those a couple days ago. I think we're already low on stock, but these are the mugs. Broken memory not included, just like the mod mat does not include my blood from sanding down a Ryzen IHS. Although that Ryzen CPU certainly had the last laugh at me. Sanded off the end of my fingertips. Okay, so that's the mug. If you want one, it's on the store, store.gamersnexus.net. I'll read your first name, where you're from, when you pick it up. All right, so should have XMP2 on. Let's see how it does. Get a real score in this time. Assuming Firestrike actually completes the run. Okay. Any day now, XTU. Could not apply processor graphics offset. That's fine, we're not even using that part. Okay, so that's all good. This is acceptable. We can still try and drop this voltage a bit. I haven't, like I said, we're heavy-handed on it intentionally, because live streaming kind of complicates things. So let's leave all that. Let's get Vega GPU overclock. This is a Vega MGH GPU. They also have a GL, which is a bit more limited in CU count. It's the weaker model. I have not tested that one. I think we decided 1390 was definitely stable, or very close to it. And this voltage, I said earlier, if you change it, it'll crash, so we're going to leave that alone. Might be a bug, I'm not sure. 950 on HPM. Max that out. We might be able to do 975 or 960 something on HPM. But let's just try and get a score in, if it will complete this time. Okay. Run. See how it does. Okay. What other chat things we have going on? Revive the dead memory with the blood of Steve. Is that like add the blood to the chalice and some liquid nitrogen and it'll come back to life? It's pretty sad, really. I think one of them was an ESD death a couple years ago, and from handling, probably on camera. And the other one, I think, was just bad, and I never got around to replacing it. All right, so chat. RJ, $2. Shout out to Joey Riz and his 2700X OC vids. Cool. Fire on a wire. 2 quid. Where's the GN CEO, senior AMD analyst? Not allowed in the live streaming setup, especially with this. I'm already enough of a hazard with this fan, as it's already almost chewed up the bench once today. So I have a feeling she's a bit on the nose with the component analysis, literally, by which I mean she touches everything with her nose. So that would be a problem with this bench right now. That and moisture would be good, though, for additional damage, I guess. And cooling. There you go. There's some kind of discussion in chat about population. Not really sure what that is. Okay, I wish I could get Vega 56 and 64 at a good price. I got a FreeSync monitor for nothing. Yeah, it'd be nice. 56 was a really fun card to work with. I did not like 64. We recommended against it. 56 I liked a lot, especially because you can basically make it become 64. And so like some people originally were like, yeah, but you can overclock 64 also. Yes, to a point. But if you overclock them both to their max potential, especially with a BIOS flash on 56, then they're basically the same. They're like single-digit percentage points different. And the price was amazing. Like, I don't remember what it was anymore because it's never been what it was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be, I don't know if it was 400 or 500. Someone remind me in chat what Vega 56 MSRP was supposed to be. That's pretty sad though, isn't it? Can't say I ever forgotten MSRP for a GPU, except for the past year where nothing's ever MSRP anymore. Anyway, I like that one a lot. It's a shame that it's so hard to get, but I don't know. It seems like it's gotten a little better. I'm not sure how much though. Okay, you can't do that. 2 quid for the last run. Ice cubes in the res. Come on. I do want to. I don't. Maybe like 1. Maybe it might be better next time, so I can like prepare for it. Let some liquid out in the very least. So we're doing the combined test now. It's just finished. See what our score is. Did pass. Don't know if it throttled. If it's lower than previously, we did. Dang, that is super close. 98.47. I want 10K. I don't know if we're gonna hit it. Physics score is 14.851. That memory OC helped a bit. We could push it. We could do a manual OC on it, just XMP right now. Anyway, 14.851. 11,700 for graphics. Seems to be about where we're stuck. Let's try and get a little more out of this thing. I think we're okay in terms of thermals ish. Frequency where I can't read anything. Does that say frequency? Yes. Okay, frequency's fine. It's not throttling, it's just dropping between tests. So okay, so let's try for like 965. I know 1000 won't work. And let's try 1400 again, which didn't work previously, but maybe. Yeah, we're at like 9800 something, and I want 10,000. Why not OC the RAM? We just did an XMP2 on it, and I can play around with it more, but the thing is, graphics is what... Is that liquid boiling? No, not anywhere close. Graphics is our big limiter, so that's the one to focus on right now. So that's what I want the extra 10 megahertz out of if I can get it. You know, I wonder if the extra 10 watts from the laptop power supply will help at this point. Can you grab under the test bench behind your editing machine? There's like a white like box that connects to a power cable on either side. It's on the floor next to the power under the battery backup. It should say like onset data logger. It's a power meter. So we're gonna see how much power we're using, so I can figure out if the extra 10 watts is gonna give us anything. It's only 10 watts, but what board is that? It's the Intel NUC, Hades Canyon NUC. It's pretty cool, actually. It's totally not meant to do this, but a lot of fun to work with. I'm going to shut this down as soon as that test finishes, too. To get a power reading. Okay. Just reading chat for a second. Cube. Everyone wants ice cubes, I guess. Either that or you're chanting for Ice Cube the rapper to come out, which you're going to be sorely disappointed. They didn't have an ice cube, so he bought Vanilla Ice. It's a good reference, too. All right. $2 from the Martin. Cube. Let's get more cube in the chat. Never seen anyone clear their throat while chugging Coke. First of all, I've been talking for like hours. Secondly, have you tasted that stuff? Because it's awful. It's probably doing the opposite. It's probably dehydrating me more than anything. Let's close this thing. I guess I could drink out of the reservoir, and then we could fit an ice cube in there. Would you be able to switch to third-party GPU OC tool? Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I've used Watt Tool is pretty good, and Afterburner's okay. We could certainly play around with it. What CPU would you recommend for this exact build? Do you mean the thing I'm testing? It's an 8809G. It's basically the only option. There's one other one, and I don't know how good it is, but it's a step down in performance. Has anyone done LN2 with this? I don't think so, but I know Buildzoid wants to. Okay. All right, so I'm waiting for Andrew to bring back the data logger if he can find it. Oh man, we're at 99. You can see a corner of the screen. 99.63. Let's save that. 99.63 points. So that is 1400 megahertz on the GPU. 11873 for the graphics score, pretty good. 14774 for physics. 3698 for combined. Thank you. I was able to use the corner that's visible to show everyone the score. Super close. So anyway, we are 40 points away from my target. So I want 10K points. That's our goal. We're gonna plug this in to a power reader and see, or a meter basically, and see how much power that brick is getting tapped for. What are your thoughts on the 8705G? Have you even tested it or seen it? No, I have not. That 10 watts extra is hitting 10K. It might be. Let's see where we actually are on consumption, though. We might not be maxed out, although we probably are. Yeah, I have not used the other CPUs from this family. So only the 8809G. I asked Intel for the lower end unit. They didn't have any available, unfortunately. I would buy one, but they're expensive, and I know we're not going to get a return on that because it is so expensive and it's not the most interesting to people. This power brick's pretty hot. I should put a fan on that. Okay. So all we're going to do is see how much power we're using. And I can explain all this to you in a second. Stay. Okay. All right. It's upside down. Okay, well, you're going to have to deal with an upside down meter. Maybe. Yes. that is going to be the case. So I'll point out what we're looking at. Sorry, it's upside down, I know. Right here, this number near my finger, that's the current wattage, like power consumption. It's not doing anything right now, so 27 basically. Let's run a fire strike thing and I can get that up. Okay, we're already configured here. We should already be good here. How much power everyone think we're using? Post it in chat. The brick can do 230 watts, so are we maxing out? Obviously there's some efficiency loss, but are we maxing out, or am I gonna need to switch the brick? And I don't know if we're even power limited at this point. We might be a bit. Also, I don't know what protections it has in terms of limiting power consumption. Even if we give it a bigger brick, it might not let us push that much through it. Steve needs water cooling, yes. How about liquid nitrogen full submersion? Don't think that's going to be doable. All right, so we've got some numbers in. Someone says 136. We've got 210, 220, 229, 180, 225, 250. I guess maybe have efficiency. 200, 245 over safe draw. What do you think of the ML120 fans? They're fine. I'll know more soon. Okay. So we've got our power consumption numbers. We're just plugging in the camera right now. Needs more power, like everything else in this room. How much do we have to donate to get you to cut that hair? Not gonna happen. Yeah, I think run it without the tools running. I think I did that. I killed hardware info for the last one. Okay. So power consumption currently 167, 168, 171. And 172. Can you get a shot of that? Right there. So we're actually not pulling as much as I thought, but if we start pushing that way during the combined test, maybe. I have a feeling the CPU is drawing the most. Right now we're in a or actually, is this combined or graphics? That was graphics test 2. Here comes the physics test, so we'll know how much it's drawing from a CPU load. Shouldn't be that much. 128's pretty good amount though for this. 130 watts, so we're leaving 100 watts of headroom for the GPU. So 130 for CPU only. The Martin 10K with ice cubes, maybe. Black Lodge Games, $2, thank you. Star Trek or Star Wars? Definitely Star Trek, hands down. TNG though. Okay, so here comes the combined test. We're between tests right now. And combined test coming up. 160, 172, 64. I saw 180 in there. 180, 180. Definitely high. 190. Well, 200. There you go. 195. So I don't know how much headroom is baked into here after overhead. I can actually feel the power brick vibrating from the fans, I think, coming through the table. 63. Okay, so we're back idle now. 99.49. Okay. What can I do? Let's try. I don't know. We really need GPU score. That's what we need. So 965 was stable. What about 975? And 1400 seems stable now. That's not enough of a change though. Maybe some memory tuning? Closing other background processes maybe? Does that say memory? Yes. Can't read it. Okay, so XMP2. Can I change this here? No. Okay, so 17, 19, 39. TCL. So it's set 17, 19, 39, 24 is what we've got stock for XMP2. Does it read it out? No. Yes. Oh, cool. Nice. 1T. Let's try 16. TCL 16. Oh, default's better than the profile, or than active, okay. RAS 39, we could get away with better. 24 for TWR. TWR 24. RAS 39. Just get to where that is first. Oh, is it resetting every time? That's annoying. What's default? 1.3, 24, okay, for multiplier. I actually don't know what speed memory this is, like what the kit is spec'd for. Where is it? HX432S. Where's my memory speed? HyperX 432S20 found something. Okay, here it is. So the spec is, might be 3200 for this one. Yeah, it is. It's DDR4 3200. What are the timing specs for? CL. So, oh, I see. Okay. So XMP2 dropped down to 2933, and it's 17, 19, 19. Whereas XMP1 is 3200 at CL20. So definitely the tighter timing is going to be better for us here, but maybe we can also push for a better frequency, although 200 megahertz isn't going to get us a lot. So we're going to stick with tighter timings. And let's push for like a 1405. Now that I know what memory spec is. See if that's stable. Then I can push the CPU a little bit. Actually, see if there's any like Adobe applications or anything like that in the background. Not really. Anything to kill. Nope. Not anything worthwhile. Okay. So let's see if this will stay alive. Kind of getting to the end of this one, but do want 10K. This is actually socketable memory, so if I could put a different kit in. I don't want to do memory timing tuning on stream. Not particularly great at it. Ha! Alright. So, clearly not stable. Did not like that GPU overclock. So we're currently, our score, if you're just tuning in, is about 9965, and I wanted 10,000, so we're very close. Firestrike score. The score puts us between a 1050 Ti and a 1060, or around a 570 in performance for the GPU. CPU performance is ahead of a 1500X overclocked, and ahead of an 8600K stock, but behind an 8600K overclocked to 5 gigahertz by a couple thousand points in physics score. So that's kind of the recap, get everyone up to speed on where we are now. And I think I might give it one more go with some memory or some CPU tuning, and then probably call it there. Cubes. Everyone wants ice cubes. So 99, it might be 90, I don't know. It wasn't the score 9963. I mean, I said 9965. What difference does 2 points make? Delete system 32 might work. That's a good suggestion. There are no more power limits to remove. Someone says spend a bit of time looking at BIOS. I have. The reason we're using XTU is because there aren't power options to disable in BIOS. So we've turned off all the power constraints that we can turn off. Anything else is stuff that either I can't touch or isn't exposed or doesn't work. Okay. Stargate or Star Trek? Probably Star Trek. SG1's good though. Okay. So we're going to take off that extra 5 megahertz on the GPU. I didn't like that. And we can probably take off a bit on the HBM. Getting kind of stuck though. Let me get Afterburner. Oh, I don't have internet access on this machine right now. Okay, so we'll just deal with this. Otherwise I'd get Afterburner on here. 1400, hopefully it stays. 1400. 970. Max this out. Okay. XTU. Did he use liquid metal? Yes. There's thermal grizzly conductinaut on there. I don't know why someone says why the 12 watt per meter Kelvin pays over 80. We are using 80. It's conductinaut. Okay, so we want. Oh, it's back to 100. Let's go up to 101.12. Let's bring this up to 44 maybe, if it'll hold. This power limit, unfortunately, is bugged or doesn't work or something I don't understand. So if you try to max it, it'll actually just reset. So can't do anything with that. Let's go with this. See if it's stable, and then worst case, we can try pushing like 1 or 2 cores up a bit higher. Or we can try pushing the reference clock a bit higher to 102, but I don't think that'll hold. 101 with XMP2 is going to get us a bit more memory speed anyway. So that'll make up for the deficit with XMP2, and we get the timing benefit. Okay. Swap out the GPU for an NVIDIA one, yeah. I don't think we can swap much of anything on this. Okay, we got Alex, €5. Thank you, Alex, for the super chat donation. I appreciate it. How far do you think a 2700X can be pushed on closed loop liquid coolers, AIOs? Also worth putting a 1080 FTW2 on a custom loop or leave it hybrid. A hybrid and custom loop are going to get you about as far on either one in terms of temperatures. So it's going to come down to how you want your system to look and if you want the flexibility to add more stuff to your loop. In terms of thermals and frequencies, don't worry about it a whole lot. The hybrid setups, because it's a dedicated closed loop for the GPU, they're about as good as you can get without exotic cooling. You could put a bigger radiator on there, it'll help a bit, but really not that much in our testing. Single digit degree differences for a lot of instances. And then, what was the other question? How far can it be pushed on liquid coolers? So we were doing about 4.2 gigahertz on our 2700X with an X62, 280 millimeter liquid cooler. I've seen a couple do like 4.3 or something, but not too many. So also single versus all core is going to be different too. The CPU ratio reset, didn't I? Oh, did it? Okay. I'll check it right now, I guess. I thought it was set to 48. What does that say? 48, right? Oh, the cache ratio reset. Good eye. Good eye, chat. Did it reset because I adjusted this? I don't know why that reset. Interesting. Okay. Oh, the reference clock reset too. Does one influence the other? Seems correct right now. Okay. Let's try that then. Good eye, chat. All right, so Next question. Alex in chat. When Tech Jesus gives you 2 minutes of his time. Martin Parker, 5 quid. Would an eGPU be against the Spirit? It has a Thunderbolt port. Also, what CPU is that? Okay, so first of all, it's an 8809G. Secondly, I considered that I have this box right here is technically an eGPU option. So I considered it. I would like to live stream it. Maybe it's better for a separate stream though. When is Moonlight Mods going to release that block? $2 from Potato. I don't know that they will. Email them or something if they have a contact on their website. Tell them you're interested. I'll let them know that people are interested in this stuff. But email them, let them know. Anyway, I don't know. Chat. External GPU. Yes or no? It'd probably be a different day. I have to I don't have any space for it. We'd have to hook it up. But even though that's against some of the spirit of this, we're basically just overclocking the CPU at that point. So let me know if you're interested in that. We can do a thing with it if you are. Okay. Fire Strike's still going. Is the motherboard cooled on both sides? It doesn't really need to be. But this fan up here, first of all, there's a fan on top blowing air down, mostly for the inductors at the top of the VRM. And then the air coming up from under it is going to naturally cool the other small components on this side. And none of those really need cooling. I mean, you're talking about an SSD and some memory, and those are getting airflow, which they don't even really need that much of, considering it doesn't have any normally. Motor Sport 199 hashtag PlizCube. People really want an ice cube in there. Okay, we're on to physics. We've got 2 more to go through. No eGPU pointless. Yes, eGPU on a custom loop. That'd be kind of interesting. If we put like the Titan V in there with a water block on it in the eGPU dock, is that interesting? I don't know. What chat is he reading? Well, clearly the one you just typed into. Stargate versus Firefly. Firefly. What is current limit throttling? If you mean which component it is, I would assume XT is talking about the CPU. If you mean what is it, it's when, in this case, when the system has a built-in either current protection or some other, like we're not out of power headroom. We're at 200 watts, so we're kind of okay. Well, it's getting kind of high actually. Maybe we should do another brick, but current limit's going to be just the any protections on the board that we can access at this point that are limiting how far we can push the amount of amperage going into it, i.e. current. The Martin eGPU, yes, only if Ice Cube cooled. 9912, did we go down? I think so. Yeah, so we might be, where'd we go down? We went up in GPU. So we might be thermal limited at this point, thermally limited. Can I get away with a little bit lower voltage? I really don't think so. Is there anything else? Let's leave that where, no, if we're thermal throttling, that's not gonna matter. Tempted to try like a 102. Okay, let's drop this and let it run and see if it crashes. Probably will. And then I'm considering doing like a 102 reference clock if I can get the voltage a bit lower and drop the multiplier or something. Are there bandwidth limitations with the eGPUs that make going to a higher performance model pointless? I mean, probably with the Titan V, I think so, but also it'd be fun. So, yeah, maybe. Let me do one more thing too. I want to break out the extra power brick just in case. And we'll do like one pass with that. The thing is, we're kind of thermal limited too, so I don't know how much that's really going to matter. 102 with less voltage. Yeah, if it holds, it looks like it's holding right now. Power consumption is at 187 watts. Try push pull on the radiator. 102. Why is throttling only with 200 watts? It's, well, current is not necessarily wattage. So current times volts gives you watts. And why is it throttling? I don't know. There might be a protection in here for X amps. Like in some boards, you might see a 50 amp overcurrent protection. So I don't know what it is on this one. We've removed all of the limits we were able to, but that doesn't mean there aren't more. Ultimately, it's not meant to do this, so there might be. Dixon Software Solutions, $2. Ice cubes? Question mark. All right. So just a reminder, as we're closing out here, if anyone grabs anything on store.gamersnexus.net, I'll shout out your name, what you bought, where you're from in the live stream up until the point of it ending, which we'll see how this does, I guess. But we've got the mod mats, which are in stock now. So it's the work surface I'm on. And we've recently discovered fairly heat resistant. It's in a video. And accidentally discovered pretty water resistant after leaking a whole bunch of liquid on it. Also, we just restocked some of the autographed ones. If you buy them, hopefully I can get one signed before I leave for Computex. If not, it'll be like 2 weeks. But I'm going to do my best to get out there ASAP and sign some more before I leave. And we're on physics test. We have combined to go. We also have the, if you want something cheap and easy but still really cool, we have these $10 keychains we just made. It's just kind of like a cool swag item. Technically it has a light in it if you buy the batteries for it, but yeah, sweet keychain we got made, or the bigger crystals if you like those, for something pretty unique and cool for a YouTube channel. Someone says, where is it? Why are temps so high on that big radiator? I think we just kind of have some contact limitations between the block and the CPU at this point. I don't know what we can do about that. Like I said before, the fins aren't really micro fins, so we're kind of limited there too. Certainly better than the CLC was, but we are going to run into limitations. Like airflow and size only does so much. Damn, same exact score, but a lower voltage. So, okay, let's save this profile. Dang, let's, I guess, try a 102. That's going to be pushing it, though. Yeah, okay, let's try that. Let's see if it just crashes. If that doesn't work, we can try 101 with like 2 cores at 49. See how quickly this dies. We have some more voltage headroom, I guess. I did pull out that other power brick too. Checking the liquid temp. Yeah, I mean, we could. We could push the HBM clock a bit more, 975, 985. Yeah, we try that too. I know it crashes for sure at 1,000, so we're close to our limits there. Let's give this a shot. Everyone wanted 102 reference clocks, so we're gonna do that first. And then we'll come back to the other option. Yeah, 49 multiplier and something. I was talking about that too. How long will it take? Maybe prank call Linus or Jay until it's done. I'm sure both of those very not busy men would appreciate that. So we're running a graphics test. Anyone's curious about power, it's 184 right now. And it's going to drop a bit because we're between tests, but it'll go back up again in a second. Have you considered doing the GN logo inside of a hollow box? What is that? Do you know what that is? So the glass cubes we have are, it's laser engraved in the glass cube. And it's got some pretty intense 3D details, but I don't know if that's what you mean by hollow box. I can look it up. We're still running graphics tests. Yeah, there's the cube. So people are saying, and then we'll try an ice cube. Extended mod mat mouse pad. Like a bigger version of the mod mat, except another 4 feet for your mouse and keyboard. Shipping 8-foot, 10-pound mat. We do want to do mouse pads and mouse mats. I know it's interesting. We're looking into it actively. Ice, ice, baby. Does the NUC have some weird added cache? I am not too sure, honestly. I haven't looked into if it's done anything funky on the architecture side other than Vega. No. Definitely higher on the graphic. I don't know. I actually don't remember. I think that's higher. So we crashed on the CPU test. Let's give it 0.005 more volts. Okay, did not like that. I'm gonna plug in the other power brick just in case. Why not at this point? Why not try everything before the stream ends? I hear if you tweet Gamers Nexus hashtag PlizzCube, you'll get ice cubes. What's the difference between a mouse pad and a mouse mat? I guess I just make the distinction in terms of like how big it is. So in my head, a mouse mat is like mouse and keyboard, but I don't know if that's actually a thing. Okay, so we're gonna try a different power brick, see what it does, if anything. And I have an EVGA laptop one next to me for one of their SC laptops. It's an extra 10 watts, 240 instead of 230. I just need to route the cable out from the maze. Okay. That's fine, I guess. Where's that? Where did I put the brick? I just had it in my hand. Did you see where I put that? Oh, there it is. Okay. So let me double check the specs. 19 volts, 12.6 amps versus 19.5 volts, 11.8 amps. Close enough to give it a shot. Okay. So there's a big EVGA brick. Cables everywhere. I think it'll fit too. Is there a Gamers Nexus mod for the computer build simulator? People have asked me to try and get the mod mat into that. I don't know what the process is for doing that. Okay. Power. Is it going to turn on? It should. So extra 10 watts. Flip the power draw monitor while it's off. Yeah, too late, sorry. Rip Hades Canyon. An asshole with a knife. 5 Canadian. Is camera guy allowed to talk, or do you pay him to not speak? Yes. He says yes. Okay, all of our settings are the same. Last time these didn't hold. Okay. Yes, I agree with this comment. 0.5 volts difference isn't anything to worry about since it's less than 10% out of spec to the original. Also, it's on the lower side, so more current, I guess, but we're doing that anyway. Why is this not opening? There we go. I just realized I was making the Zelda theme song noise, which is going to get us banned from YouTube by Nintendo. Okay, see what that does, if anything. Yes, I know. Use third-party OC tool. I've heard you. Cache multiplier. Thank you. At 39. I'm not connected to internet on this machine right now. I would have downloaded Afterburner otherwise. 102.12, 48, 44, and then max on the stuff that matters. Okay. All right. So what are we gonna get? 9963 again? Or it's crashing right now, I think. Pretty sure it's about to crash. What's the margin of error in these tests? Pretty high, actually. But, I mean, that's Firestrike in general. All hail the camera guy, that'd be Andrew, by the way, for filming this. He is a disciple for sure. Okay. Oh, there it goes. It's rebooting right now. Alright, so why are the power supplies in parallel? Yeah. Sounds great. I am still trying to get a custom one in, but if I do that, we might as well do a something with a liquid cooler too. I don't know, chill the radiator or different block or something like that. Because we're gonna hit thermal limits anyway. I got an order in from Shane. Thank you, Shane. We appreciate your order of one teardown crystal statue with LED base. Going to, I think that's Wyoming. Pretty cool. Hector from New York, picked up one of the $10 GN logo keychains. Thank you, Hector. At the very least, it gives me something to do while we wait for this to reboot. Okay. Please, no more crashing. This would be a lot easier if we had more thermal headroom. So I think the next step is possibly a chiller or something like that. I'll talk to Alpha Cool and see if we can get one of those in. Pretty sure they would send us one. That's probably the next step, though. And that would have to wait till after Computex if we did it. Okay, Wattman. 1400 was relatively stable. 970 was stable. Try not to change too many variables at once. 3D Mark. Okay. All right, that's a good sign. So all the settings are the same. I think it's gonna crash, but let's try it. Put salt in the reservoir. Mod mat sleeping bag. Can we have a view of the motherboard with a thermal camera? I don't have anything set up right now for that. We could, but thermal cameras are kind of nice for that, but also emissivity and reflectivity are a problem, although not, well, there's enough reflective stuff on here where you'd want to black it out, but literally just put the hose in a bucket of ice. I've thought about that. We would want to we'd want to insulate some of the components around the block just in case there's condensation buildup, so I could put blue shop towel around that or something. $2. Do not say my name or where I am from. Thank you. I think I did that correctly. You're welcome. The sickness, 229. Ice next to rad intake. Yeah, you could do that too. Not the best fit for today with the space we have and what we planned for, but you can always come back and do more live streams. So that'll give us, we have a lot of options for the next one. Really want to see if this will hit 10,000. It's running this time so far. So we'll see if it holds in the physics test. That's the real test. Right now we're in graphics 2. Graphics 2 seems sort of stable. I mean, it hasn't crashed, so it is stable, I guess. I'm just hesitant to say it's stable because that's when things crash. Also, this thing is amazing. I don't know what it is, though. The art in the corner. All right. Jay Newton, why does everyone keep calling Steve Tech Jesus? I'm sure he'd prefer Steve. All right. Did it crash? Yes. Dang. What did it crash on? CPU? Yes. Let's go down to 101 and let's, I think this is going to be our last thing. Let's try 49. No. Oh, it's not going to let me do that? Okay, fine. 49. That's really not going to be too much different from what we just did, unless it's actually stable. Then it will be. Is it crashing already? It might be crashing already. That might be it. We might be stuck at 9963 for this stream. What's the power usage with the different PSU any different? Not really. I think I saw it go up an extra 5 watts, but we also had it overclocked differently. Someone says Tech Jesus Steve is just too long. Yes, that's what he meant. Turn the water in the loop into wine. And parlor tricks. Okay. $2 Clifton Ward. Hey man, put some Steve blood in the tube. You guys have a weird obsession with this idea. Okay. So, I don't know. That might be where we stop. Let me try one last thing just for the show of it. We'll do a bit higher on the HBM, see if we can get 980. And we're going to leave the CPU stuff alone because that's clearly not going any higher. And then that'll be it. So we'll see if we got the extra 30 or so points, 40 points. Use liquid metal. We are. Let's see. Yeah, we just need, I don't know, maybe slightly better contact. I could put bigger better fans on here. Anything that would let us push more voltage, I think would help, because we need more voltage, but I don't have the thermal headroom for it. So that's my big limiter right now. All right. The water is condensing. It's too hot. Ice. Ice cubes for the show of it. We should just put one ice cube in the loop. Just so everyone gets what they want. 101 was stable.
Should I get one?
Let's do one. Let me do this last thing. Okay, all of that's stable. Well, was previously. Does this have built-in wireless? No. Because I would get afterburner otherwise. Alright, so I said we're going to try 1400 with a 980 HBM. 980 max apply. I think that should hold the settings when I close it. Yes, okay, so let's get rid of that. And then this should hold the settings as well. Let's get rid of that just in case. Not much else to get rid of. Go away, OneDrive, no one wants you. Quit. 3D Mark, all right. So before the cube, if Ice Cube works, the internet will break. Literally one ice cube, I don't think is gonna change a whole lot. Probably waiting a few minutes between tests and letting the water cool down would do just as much. HBM doesn't run over 1 gigahertz. Yeah, I can't even get it to 1 gigahertz. It crashes at that. Southbridge chip is naked. Yeah, PCH doesn't need any cooling. It's like a couple watts. Ice Cube. Hate OneDrive. Rip OneDrive. F. Wrap it in RGB LEDs so it goes 3,000% faster. Oh yeah, we could lower the texture and tessellation settings, I guess, for the score. Okay. Drop the entire thing into mineral oil, rad and all. Yeah, that crashed. So, crush the ice cube for surface area. Okay. We crashed on graphics that time, so that was that HBM change. Let's refresh out of options here. I already know setting that voltage is going to crash it. 970, okay. RAM tuning. Alright, so I wish it would just let me change stuff here. So let's drop, see if we can do anything here. I'm not really great at memory timing stuff. Alright, so 17, we can at least copy what their profile is to start. Oh, is it actually carrying over? RTP 12, RFC 514, yes. TFAL 31, memory multiplier 22, okay. Wish I had CPU-Z on here as well. So we're gonna have to reboot as I change these. Can I? Oh, that's a big jump. You can go you can go 1.2 or 1.35 volts. Reclock multiplier is maxed. So it seems to be carrying everything over. What is the default frequency? I think I might actually have CPU-Z on here. All right, what should we go with changing? Push for 16 or something? Give me some thoughts in chat. I can't remember if RFC should be higher or lower. I think we want lower, but give me some suggestions, chat. What do you think? Who knows more about memory overclocking? 1.35 should probably be fine, yeah, but I know the sticks can take 1.5. I don't know how this memory controller is, but whatever. Sticks can definitely take it, for sure. It's just, I don't know about the memory controller. Okay, other suggestions. Let's get chat plays overclocking. Let's get to 10,000 because I'm out of ideas. Drop that thing in Novec fluid. RFC should be lower, okay? Ice cubes. Not the kind of suggest. One ice cube isn't going to get us there. Increase the multiplier. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Data queue. Dude, logic, Steve, 9963 equals 10K. Right, close enough, mate. Does it play well with XMP profiles? Seems okay. 16, 16, 16, 26. We can try that. 33, 34. Yeah, we can try a couple of these things. Command T1. 16, 16, 16, 40. 16, 16, 16, 26. A lot of suggestions. Okay. So what are we setting to? Someone wants 26, someone wants 40. So let's try just let me see if CPU-Z is on here. Hang on. Or actually, does this read the memory speeds? That's all I really need. Memory speed. There it is. Okay, cool. So does that live update? Yes, it does. Let's go 24. What other changes? What do we want TRAS to be? TRAS and TRCD. Give me in order. So TCL we've got at 16 right now. We know it's stable at 17. What do we want TRCD and TRAS to be? 36, not 26. Okay, yeah, thanks. Okay, 16. TRAS can't go lower than 28. VCCSA. I don't know if we have VCCSA options. I can look. 16, 16, 17, 34. What clock speed are we at? I think we're at 48, 50, or 60 or so. All right. 36. 16. Probably went one too low on TRAS, but let's give it a shot. That's true. I can see if BuildZoid's awake too. Yeah, the water blue lock helped a lot. Someone's asking if it helped. Helped a lot for sure. We're at 99.63 points. We started at like 8,000 something, so I want an extra 30 something points to get up there. We're super close. 2 orders came in while this is rebooting. Jeff from Canada, Ontario, I think, ordered a mod mat. Thank you, Jeff, for that. That'll ship probably tomorrow or the next day. And William from Florida ordered a Raglan two-tone hoodie. Thank you, William, for that. Certainly appreciate it. That's one of my favorite designs we have. Lots of stuff in chat. TRAS 36, okay. What's going on over here? Keep in mind we've got a reference clock boosted up a lot too. It's on, but I'm not getting signal, so it might just be bugging out, or it's not stable with those settings. Might need 16, 18, 18, 36. Okay. 16, 18, 18, 36. We're just going for a couple more points on memory. For the people asking. 16. I don't think the voltage goes higher than 1.35. Okay, I'm just rebooting it right now. I think. It's a G-Skill kit. No, it's actually a HyperX kit. When could I look forward to a mat being shipped? Ordered one about a week and a half ago. Yeah, so that was a back order then, but we got them in, I think Friday. So they, I mean, obviously have to pack them and everything. So that was happening all weekend. So they started shipping on Saturday, and then they're gonna continue shipping all this week. So depending on which round yours goes out, and it's definitely shipping the next few days. If it hasn't already, it may have already shipped. Put a Ryzen 7 CPU in the reservoir. All right. Should just do that instead of the ice cube. Yeah, that's the other thing. People are saying let the loop cool. That would probably help too. So I think the memory settings I chose are unstable. So probably have to clear BIOS and get it all going again. I might call it. Let's just, I guess, reset BIOS. I don't know. I kind of want to call this. We have to film hardware news. Super close. 9963. I might just revisit it after Computex or something. Are you double streaming on Twitch? I don't know. Maybe we should. How many of you prefer Twitch versus YouTube? Just let me know each one that you watch. What about an 8 GB kit with lower timings? Yeah, unfortunately it's so dim memory, and I don't really have any of that. So I'd have to start asking. I could probably get some from G-Skill. Let's see. I got another order in while this is... Oh, there it goes. Okay, so... The restore to defaults button doesn't seem to always work. Memory... 22... 16... Let's try 17... 17... All right, command rate 4. Oh, never mind, I misread that. Okay. BuildZoid. Let's see if BuildZoid's on. Are you there? BuildZoid's there. I'll take his suggestions. Otherwise, push it out to next stream probably for the memory. Twitch. Twitch better chat. Twitch not lagging unlike YouTube. I don't think the video lags, does it? I think it's just the maybe the chat. I have a different latency setting than probably I should. Maybe flip the whole case so the rad is vertical. Like throw it. So I think needs some cooling down the radiator. Needs some consulting on the memory timing. It's super close though. Got pretty far. 4.88 gigahertz. 4860, 4880. Did it just crash or is it adjusting itself? Okay, it's adjusting itself. I'm going to increase the multiplier again, 24 from 22 on the memory, and that for sure is going to be the last thing I think. 24. Reboot, yes. Yeah, I have a feeling the IMC for that CPU isn't that great with Titan timing. It's probably correct. Break out the ice chest. 16, 18, 18, 38. Yeah. Well, I mean, this booted. I guess we'll give this a shot. All right. So yeah, we could get more memory from G-Skill or something else. Ordered a mod mat, they are in stock, correct? Yes, that is correct. They are shipping as the orders come in at this point. Would be nice if it let you adjust IO and SA along with tertiary timings. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do much with tertiary aside from help, but the IO and SA voltages would be nice to adjust. So this is having trouble with the timings we've put in. Well, with the specifically with the multiplier, it does not like 3200 megahertz. So here's what I'm gonna do. On reboot, I'm gonna set the multiplier to what's stable, 22, and we're gonna see if the 16, 17, 36, or whatever settings I put in are good without the multiplier. Like, cause we only need a couple points really, so. Okay. It's a soldered memory. No, it's actually SODIMM, so they are socketed and they're replaceable. But I don't have any other SODIMM memory. I just have the HyperX Impact that they shipped this with. All right, so performance, memory. Going down to 22. We're going to go up to a 102 reference clock, or 101 actually, 101 reference clock. This is, hopefully this is going to be it, because I don't have any other ideas. Did get super far though, pretty happy with it. Just need to see if it even boots. So right now, we're set up on, we have a different power supply. It's 240 watt instead of 230, not a big deal, not really using it. We're using like 200 watts or so. And 360 radiator, open loop, custom block on the CPU and the GPU and the HBM, which are all on one substrate anyway. And pushing 4860, 4880 megahertz on the CPU, which is quite high because stock, it was about 4200 max for our overclock, 4243. So we're 600 megahertz higher or more. And we also have the GPU now hitting 1400 megahertz stable. So now it's a question of the memory settings at this point, but really pushed it pretty far so far. Hey, that's still set up. Cool. Very good. Okay. And over here, still set. So, let's see if it dies straight away or not. Upside, the water supply had a bit of time to cool down. Turn off the camera lights, lower the ambient by 20 points. The Rocky, 2 quid. Ice, that's all he said. Thanks again for all the orders today, everyone. That's really extremely supportive. We really appreciate it. It's going to help a lot with Computex coming up. So while this is going, I'm going to talk a bit about Computex because I think it's kind of a fun topic, and it's so chaotic once we're on the ground. You don't get a whole lot of insight as to what's going on. But basically, we show up early. We're going to do a factory tour. That'll be really fun. It'll be filmed. So we're going to show how some components are made. I'm not going to share what it is yet, but we've done factory tours of case factories in the past, like InWinds, which I need to book a meeting with them still. Done factory tours of NZXTs many years ago. And now we're going to do one with another company in Taiwan. We've done also Gigabyte's factory. We should do that again too, because that was super rushed last time. But anyway, a lot of factories out there. So we're going to do a factory tour. I'm really looking forward to the Guanhua Digital Plaza, which it's cool. We have a video on it from last year. Let me see what we titled that video. I'll share it in chat. YouTube Gamers Nexus Guanhua Digital Plaza. Yeah. So it's a gigantic computer mall, and here it is. If you're curious, we're gonna go back there again. So we're going back there again this year. It's really fun. And I got a $2 in from £2 from Storm Zoo. It says, "Hey Steve, love what you guys do. Keep it up. Thank you." So still going here, but yeah, that computer marketplace is super cool. Like, you walk into some shops and it's just wall to wall, like resistors and capacitors, and like thermocouples and stuff that in the US, if you sold that, I mean, look at Radio Shack, I guess, and you know what happens. So it's cool to see it actually survive there. The main building is just, I want to say it's 6 stories, it might be 4, but I think it's 6 stories of basically sort of like just independent vendors with computer stands. So last year, the year before, when Ryzen was still pretty new, there were a bunch of the vendors getting Ryzen in, so they had Ryzen boxes out. And there's a lot of knockoff stuff that you can get for cheap, so that's kind of cool to see in person. There's a lot of legit stuff as well, and it's not actually cheaper for the most part. So like, well, actually, at the time, remember we talked, I'm just talking all this finishes, but the RX 570 we showed in that video that I linked in chat, and it was, I want to say it was $30 over MSRP, and we were like, yeah, that's not a good deal. And then we got back and all the mining stuff happened, and I basically should have bought all of them and brought them home and sold them to miners, because it was actually a pretty good deal considering the mining boom. Oh my God, we did it. What's the opposite of F for respect? Is it G? Is it GG? GG. 10,009 points. Thank you, chat, for giving me the suggestions on memory. We didn't do a whole lot. I have the multiplier 22. I dropped it. I think I did 16, 17, 36 for the timings. So that was enough for 10,009. Awesome. So 10,000. That's 10,009 points. Hades Canyon. I'm just gonna save that score so I can put it on Hardware Bot or something later. So yeah, there we go. Chat's blowing up with GGs. Nice. Very happy with that. Right at the end too. I was running out of steam. So 10,009 total score. Graphics score 11,955. Physics score 14,300. Combined score 3,746. So that right there, the graphics score helped us out. Part of that might be because the loop had time to cool down. So we're at 1,400 megahertz and 970 for the HBM. So man, this is awesome that we achieved the actual goal that we set out to achieve. So in terms of comparison, if you're curious, let's just do this one more time. So 11,955 points on the graphics score is comparable to, actually not far from a 1060. Let me see how far we are from that. 12.5. No, wait, I misread that. We're not far from a 570, excuse me. It's 12,560 minus, let's see, 11,955, 11,955. It's like 5% away from an RX 570 4 gigabyte. That is awesome. That's extremely powerful. So that's a Vega M GH GPU pushing that. 1060 is at 13,411 points. To give you an idea, the CPU is at 14,327, and the physics scores for CPUs, we have a 7700K stock with 3200 megahertz CL14 memory doing 14605. So we're basically 7700K right now. We're ahead of a 1500X at 4 gigahertz, which is 13,485. And we are behind an i5 8600K at 5 gigahertz, which is 15,994. So that is, Buildzoid just replied, never mind, we'll fill you in later. Okay. Awesome. So there's your perspective on where all those settings are. It requires ice still. Cubes, riot cubes. Ice cube for the last run. I'm going to call that the last run. We're going to call that the victory lap because it's better to end on a high note. So really happy with that. Got the 10,000 points I set out for. It only took like 3 hours. That's not bad actually for a stream. So got it. I'm going to read the last couple super chats and things. That's Steve Streza from the Patreon Discord. You go to patreon.com/gamersnexus if you want to join our Discord. Streza says, that's a pretty low result for 7980XE, isn't it? You think you're funny. Okay, last couple super chats and things. We'll come back and do another one of these streams later with when I have more of an idea on memory and with some more tools, maybe a chiller or something like that. All right, so last few messages. Stormzoo, haste. Oh, you got that one. Cuts McVascular, $2. Can we get the GN shirts in bigger sizes? Tweet at me at GamersNexus. It's the easiest way, or email support@gamersnexus.net and let us know specifically what sizes you want, because we can kind of fit 1 or 2 of the different sizes in each production run, but I can't do one-offs. So let me know, and then next time we do a run, I can get it in. And let's see, we've got a couple more. Jennifer Roger, GG, congrats. Thank you very much, $10. The Rocky, GG, $5. The Martin, $5, GG. But before we end, can we try 1 or 2 ice cubes next time? I promise we'll do a chiller or ice cubes. James Vaughn, $4.99. Today was a good day. Signed Ice Cube. Now you're making me feel bad that we don't have ice cubes. And that's it. I've got all the orders read out. Got all the super chats read out. So thank you, everyone, for watching. I see all the cube requests. I hear you. It's been 3 hours, so we're going to call it. But lots of fun. Really appreciate the chat support on getting the extra memory timings in. That's probably my weakest area I need to learn right now. So yeah, 10,009 points. If anyone's jumping ahead to this point, that's what we got. 11,955 GPU, 14,327 for physics, and 3,746 for combined. Subscribe for more. Make sure you catch our Taipei trip. We're going to be in Taipei this week, where I shall attempt to use my 2 sentences I've learned in Chinese, and we'll film some behind-the-scenes stuff while we're there and publish it on the main channel. Also doing the Guanhua Digital Plaza tour again. That'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, subscribe for Computex, basically. Go to store.gamersnexus.net to help us out directly. Patreon.com/gamersnexus. I'll see you all next time.